Sports Hub.
Goes to the backhand and scores! Two-hand slam!
Boston's home for sports.
I love this team!
98.5, the Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
We start with good news from the Red Sox. Andrew Monasterio's two-run homer in the top of the 10th inning snapped a 2-2 tie and handed the Sox a 4-2 win in Sacramento over the Athletics late last night.
So my plan was like get him over, trying to driving in and get him over. So I get ahead in the count 2-0. So and then I try to be aggressive. And I got a homer.
Jahmai Jones also went deep for the Sox in the win. They've taken 2 out of 3 in this series so far. Sonny Gray will start tonight in the 4th and final game of the series. Curtis Mead reportedly won't need surgery to repair his broken left wrist. He's been given a tentative timetable of 6 to 8 weeks to recover. The regular season ends 8 weeks from Sunday. Patriots players had yesterday off, but they'll participate in a padded practice for the first time at training camp this morning. Practice begins at 10:15 and is open to the public. The first preseason game, by the way, is 2 weeks from tonight. In NHL news, a record-breaking deal for San Jose cornerstone Macklin Celebrini. He has signed a new 5-year, $94 million contract extension. Mauricio Pochettino is expected back as the head coach of the U.S. men's soccer team. He will reportedly sign a new 4-year contract that will take him through the next World Cup. And the MLS All-Stars beat the Mexican Liga MX All-Stars last night 4-3 in Charlotte. Revolution midfielder Carlos Gil had a pair of assists for the winners. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off a drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Diving effort. He's got a breakaway. Goes to the backhand. Throws it in front. Coming to the spot.
The Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher
Yes, I finally shaved my nuts.
and Hardy
Who, me?
Just hanging around.
on 98.5.
Tinkerman, heard about you.
Yeah.
We're Costco guys. Of course we go shopping while eating a chicken bake.
That's gross.
Not a great cook, but I do cook.
When I asked him about the sides,
Kick them in the balls.
I don't care about it, but it's not good behavior.
Blaze Bailey is omitted.
Toucher and Hardy
We're the best friends that can be, my buddy and me.
on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
Wonderful little feet with red nail polish, which is the color of love and passion. And I love you so much, my love of my life. I will always love your perfect feet.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy. Town Fair Tire Studios, 617-779-0985. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and get involved in that. A big show on the way today with Tom Karen and did Jay Stu come through yesterday? Or
Oh, yeah.
we got a little Jay Stu. Our boy Jay Stu coming through.
I want to let your feet marinate in my mouth.
That's coming up at 8 o'clock. And in fairness to Jay Stu, these are not things that we, taped in private. Jay Stu was reading script.
Correct.
You
Yeah.
know, these are not his thoughts. These are things that
Yeah,
he
it's not
read
from his own personal audio diary.
Right, exactly. It's not like his audio book, the Jay Stu biography, which is available on Cracked.
Yeah.
Only Cracked is where you can get that. I think
I think he signed a Sirius XM deal because they're turning it into a podcast. Also, it's the J Stu channel.
Oh,
It's in like the 400s.
I see.
It's up there.
I see. Do you see that Sirius XM kind of took an idea that we had discussed in this studio?
Oh, I did.
Yeah, they've put Odyssey sports talk radio stations on them. which I'm not positive I love if I'm on an Odyssey Sports Talk radio station, because you're limiting the importance of the success that you have locally, which as a local sports talk station, you would assume is how you're selling advertising. But, based on your it's certainly for this station is, you're very popular locally. So you talk to businesses and you say, if you want to create a brand in the Boston metro area, you advertise the 98.5 The Sports Hub. The reach is pretty long. But my idea for SiriusXM would always, you should have like 10 to 15 channels, like the New York channel, the Los Angeles channel, the down to the Boston, Dallas, Detroit. And then you take like the 4 best shows, regardless of like the 4 best, so sports, I thought like male oriented shows, and you put them on one channel. Now I thought it was regardless of format, as long as they were talk shows, because you could get a morning show like in Detroit. You could have Dave and Chuck the Freak, that's very popular there, and you could have them on in the morning. In Philadelphia, you could have Preston and Steve on. It's very popular in the morning. Those are on rock radio, and I don't think they play songs. I know Dave and Chuck the Freak don't. And you would have like that, or if there was some like guy talk afternoon show, which I miss. But because I liked when they did that after Howard Stern. I liked when they went to guy talk. I thought that was interesting. But I thought that was a good idea. But they sort of did something like that. Anyway, now all 3 of us have seen The Odyssey, because I saw The Odyssey last night. And first of all, let me just tell you, I get why everyone's so upset.
Oh, you understand the cultural divide that this movie has created.
I get that Elon Musk is pissed. I don't understand. Because even the person that was in Juno, see how I did that?
Well done.
I'm learning. The person that was in Juno that was very controversial is in the movie for 5 seconds, and I also didn't know it was the person from Juno, and never would have known it was the person from Juno had I not been hit over the head that the person from Juno was in the movie.
Okay, well, you lose some woke points for not knowing that, being able to recognize that person. Thank you. Thank you. For not being able to recognize them? Him?
Them. Or I don't know
now, right?
Oh, see, now I just lost all my points.
I don't want to misrepresent my pronouns.
I like saying the person.
All right,
because we're all just people.
Right.
I'm not positive what you're supposed to do there. Maybe
he they pronouns.
Okay, so they
for Elliot Page.
Okay.
Anyway, so unless you're like a massive dork that enjoyed reading The Odyssey or pretended to get a college teaching job, how the hell do you know what the people are supposed to look like? Are they mad that black people are in it? Like, I don't know. All I know is that the last scene of The Odyssey, the last fight scene, has a lot in common with the last scene in Young Washington. And the person I saw the movie was like, well, that's how The Odyssey ends. Like, and I'm like, I don't care how it's supposed to end. It's ridiculous. The guy took that many people on.
With a bow and arrow.
With everything. He had to pick up shields and everything else. Yeah. I don't mean, no spoiler alert.
Right.
But, so Young Washington and the end of The Odyssey, they have more in common than you would think. No, I don't. I got, called out when I made fun of the end of Young Washington, and I do not want to step in it again with The Odyssey. But I did enjoy the movie for how long it is. I will say that. I thought that for a movie that long, and it's really long, it's almost 3 hours long, I did enjoy it. I appreciated the spectacle of it, but I just find any fight scene where it's one guy up against 1,000 people and like magically crap's not impaling them or going through their bodies In Young Washington, it was bullets. And he also rode a horse and like when he was riding it, like moved to the side away from the gunfire and like rode like kind of parallel.
You're
to the
obsessed
side
with
of the
that
horse.
scene. It's listen to me. That's an old Western trick. You see it in Silverado. You see it in other movies. It must have happened at some point because everybody uses it.
Okay, so Silverado is almost a campy Western film. So it's like an extreme Western film that kind of has fun with the genre. Young Washington is supposed to be a historical adaptation, and up to that point, like historically accurate. And I understand that there is talk that Washington, that bullets, several bullets went through his uniform but didn't hit him.
I will,
and I think that might have been.
I will object to your classification.
That might have been pumped up a little bit by history.
I'm going to object to your classification as Silverado as being somehow even a little bit tongue-in-cheek or campy. I think they tried to make a Western in the 80s, and they did it pretty faithfully.
Maybe campy isn't the right, but it's supposed to be kind of funny at times.
Sure.
Like Kevin Costner, is it supposed to be funny?
Yeah.
Well, so it's
John
not the...
John Wayne was a hoot. Yeah, he
he
had
was.
funny lines.
Oh, yeah, and he was a great guy.
Yeah.
And not gay. So which there are very many rumors, but it might be because he was I just read something about John Wayne on a set, and he was just like this awful guy. But anyway, but that might be just the woke people of the early 60s. But I think Silverado was like kind of having fun with the genre a little bit. I think Silverado was a really good movie, but I think they maybe campy's not the right point, but they were having fun with the genre. Like they were.
It's not The Unforgiven.
Right.
Yeah,
It's like I think that it was a good time.
Yeah.
Like Silverado was supposed to be fun, and also Westerns aren't historical, like mini docudramas. This was supposed to be accurate, and I just thought it was funny that all of a sudden he started kicking ass Rambo style at the end.
So I just heard this recently, people talking about George Washington. I don't think it was here. I don't think it was you, Fred. But apparently George Washington, in all his depictions, he appears, quite regal. But in reality, he was kind of plump. Like he had a big fat butt. He's more Gemelli-like.
Interesting.
Then that would be the best way to describe his
Fleece
physique.
Johnson would be a
Yes. Is he portrayed that way, or is he more buff?
Oh, he's handsome.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a handsome man.
He's a leading man.
Meager upbringing.
Oh yeah.
He was an orphan. Not an orphan. He was without a father, and was doomed to a life of servitude, but he overcame that. Which I assume is true, right? And then he had a lot of success on the battlefield, and then that led him to his position as the first president of the United States. I assume all that's true. But then again, I was a history major, but I focused more on, strangely enough, the 1800s was what seemed to be most of the classes that I was taking. A lot of the Civil War era, but not the battle stuff, like more of the politics of it and how wrong this country got it in terms of how much poorer off we are now that the South didn't win. That was my whole senior thesis was like the South should have won.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll get back to that.
I'm surprised they let you do that as a thesis, seeing how it's just widely accepted as fact. We all think that
it's
way.
Central
So
Florida.
Aren't you supposed to challenge some ideas in a thesis?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do well on it.
Okay.
It was
Good.
described by the professor as obvious. One of my senior thesis was on something along those lines. Not obviously not that. It was like the politics of the Civil War and da da da. It's because it's obviously more. It wasn't just about slavery, obviously. But then I had to do one for European history where I had to go through microfiche and cite. I had to have a index card box full of at least, say 200 to 300 references or sources that were original sources. So it wasn't, I couldn't get them out of a book that referenced something. I had to go through parliamentary notes, which is, have you ever read those?
No.
The letters are different.
What do you mean?
An S at the beginning of the sentence looks like an F. Like it's not written in the same way as the modern English language in a lot of ways.
Oh my God!
So
How long did that take you?
Too long.
Good Lord.
I don't think the context of the paper was as important as the references or the footnotes. So I had to have 200 to 300 footnotes, and I had to sift through all these parliamentary microfiches because, say, Stan Patterson at Harvard had written a book about that era of European politics. I couldn't reference that book. I had to go to the original source material and sift through that. And and it was so effective educationally, I have no idea what it was about. I do not remember. And you might have been able to ask me the year after, and I wouldn't have been able to tell you what was after. I just remember sitting in that library and having to just go through these parliamentary notes and just, you couldn't look them up on the internet. He wouldn't have let you anyway. You had to go and write down where it was from, who said it, what they said, and so on and so forth. I remember that, but I don't remember what I did my senior thesis on. It was something having to do with the U.S. history in the 1800s. That's all I remember. Because the only professor I liked, that was his specialty.
It sounds like a good paper.
I did well. It's a thesis class, so it was great. You only met once a month, and then you just kind of, the last week did it.
Did you sit around in a circle talking about what you were working on?
Yes.
Wow, man.
Were you very interested in what the other people were working on?
Well, by then I had realized how to pass classes at a small college, and that was, and John can probably speak to this as well, and that is participate.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't do any reading, but I would go in there and I could infer based on conversations that were being had, at least how to jump in.
Yeah.
And they weren't super advanced enough, and it was enough people doing different stuff that you could just kind of ask questions to the person that was doing a thesis on something else, that I figured it out, because I almost failed out my freshman year. I mean, I don't know if they would have failed me out, but I couldn't join a fraternity or anything because my grades were so bad.
Bigger classes, lectures, harder to stand out. And this is not going to be a shock to you, but that works even at a huge school like Michigan State. As you go along and the classes get smaller, what do? You participate. Maybe visit office hours.
Oh, God, that's the easiest way to do it. Seriously, that's what my call. Yep.
Talk about stuff a little bit. And I tried telling this to my daughter, who is struggling in one of her classes. I'm like, go to office hours, ask, some additional questions. Well, I don't know. And it's all the way. I said, do you want to, do well in the class? It's just part of the deal. It's not ass kissing. It's not cheating. It's not brown nosing. It is how you differentiate yourself, especially as a freshman, in these huge classes where, all right, maybe your grade isn't what it could be. Grades are subjective in a lot of these things, unless it's just a straight up math class. And even then, if you have to show your work and see what you're, all right, put a face to the name, put a face to the grade. You're a nice person, you're a friendly person, you're engaging. Go there, talk to these people who are deciding what your grade is going to be, because a lot of it is a decision that they have to make.
Well, that's why I tell Zoe, because Zoe's got Zoe's dyslexic, so I tell Zoe, go, you are, she's engaging, so I'm like, go, and she did it and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that in some of my classes, especially as I got on, 75% of our grade was class participation.
Wow, that's amazing.
Well, wouldn't you think
Lord.
that that's what you would want if you were the professor? That you would want like an active, spirited conversation in the classroom? Like that's far more valuable. And the assumption is that you would, in order to be able to do that, you would have to have done the reading. So if it's, I think that's, and then 25% was like the last paper. But they didn't. I don't know about you, but I think they stopped giving tests in my major.
Yeah, when you get when you get later in
junior
school,
year, they didn't really
that's
give
right.
tests anymore.
It's all projects and papers and discussions and presentations. Yeah.
Because there's really it's not like about facts anymore. It's not about memorization. It's about understanding ideas at that point, which I would argue that I never did. But that's what, so back to the Odyssey, that's why I left. That's why I changed majors from English to history, because I did well on my verbal SAT. I did terrible on my math. And I went in and they were like, oh, you should be in these like English classes. And I was in an English class with like juniors and seniors as my first semester of my freshman year. And they were talking about Beowulf and the Odyssey. And apparently there's like biblical references in there. And like you have to have like read the Bible as literature to understand like a lot of the metaphors or whatever that's going on in those books. And people were just saying stuff, and I was like, okay, well, I just got no idea what you're talking about.
No, you could read the Bible as literature. I read it as instructions.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I said, I know who to hate.
Fred, did you like the movie?
I said, yeah. I thought for as long as it's like not my favorite movie, but I enjoyed it.
I said like my biggest positive I can say about it is almost 3 hours I didn't fall asleep. I don't know that it's possible to fall asleep in that. It is loud.
Yeah, and I like that, like occasionally, not often, but there would be something surprising that happened that was super loud, because it kind of like got you back into things.
Yeah.
Again, just to wrap things up, because I think a lot of people are in the same boat as we are. This young Washington, I'm not positive how that's going to save the world or how it would be bad. And then I saw the Odyssey, and I don't understand what everyone's upset about. So like, I just don't know. And I don't think people, and which makes me think I don't think people are. I think that this is like a very small percentage. Well, obviously, the Odyssey is a huge hit, a massive hit,
right?
Like hard to get tickets to.
But the controversy and the cultural divide that exists because of these two movies isn't real. It's like the Pete Davidson thing that he talked about on the Oh Hello podcast, where it's like these things that you think are real because they exist on the internet, they're not real. It's not really a part of your life or anyone else's, quite frankly. It's something that only exists in an idea that seems real because you read it and you see these people arguing, but it's not a real thing.
Yeah, I found neither movie offensive. I mean, The Odyssey's obviously better than Young Washington. I mean, it's a much better director and a bigger budget and scope and a better story.
The only reason I know about Young Washington is because you saw it and talked about it. I haven't seen one thing about this movie outside.
Neither have I.
You see, and the funny thing is, you only see like one or two commercials. It's not.
I haven't seen any commercials.
And by the way,
I've seen one.
And by the way, I never would have mentioned it if at the end Kelsey Grammer didn't come on and talk about and beg for money.
Right.
That's
beg people to talk about it and get it out there.
Which there was 3 people in the theater, me and my parents were like, "What the hell's going on?" Like, what, it's not a religious movie. It's not something like, it's not like an anti-abortion movie or a pro-abortion movie. It's not something that's like a divisive issue. I really call into question Kelsey Grammer asking for money at the end of that thing.
It is odd to sit through a movie and then watch essentially a commercial for the movie after you've already seen it.
And then to build that up is like, this is going to like really help the world. And I just didn't get that impression. Even like a Kirk Cameron Christian movie, I get what they're saying.
Yeah,
I think
and why
it's
they
ridiculous.
would, why they would do
But they're
that.
saying like, we are saving the world through Christianity, da-da-da-da-da-da. Again, I have not heard anything ever in my kids' school, and now my kids come home and discuss their history classes, but I haven't seen anything about George Washington getting a bad rap.
Well, I would say this, Fred, just if you don't understand why it needs to be talked about and promoted, maybe you need to see it again.
Would that be possible? Is that still in theaters?
It's got to be somewhere.
Well, anyway, I bet you 99% of the country is sitting that one out. I think that is a construct of very specific social media boards.
But as far as the Odyssey goes, there is no better endorsement for the average person. Say it's 2 hours and 45 minutes long, and you will be awake and engaged for the entire movie.
And by the way, it was 6:00 on a Wednesday, and the thing was full.
Yeah.
That movie has got to be making a tremendous amount of money.
Yeah.
Because this has become a bit of a situation. And you could have told, I thought it was going to be a flop because I was like, who wants to see the Odyssey? The Odyssey's so boring, but
They made it, they
so
added
congratulations
a few
to
fight scenes.
everyone, I guess, that bitched about it. It made enough people curious to see it, and then there you go. It's like putting a parental advisory sticker on an album. Then, the record companies would go, thanks, you just made us sell 500,000 more records. Because kids go into the record store and they see the sticker and they're like, oh, I want this. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. The Red Sox played in Sacramento again, of all places. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happened. So change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lopresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. What happened last night in the world of sports?
Well, let's first talk about our Red Sox here, who were once again playing the Oakland Athletics. Do they play in Oakland? No, not anymore. By the way, John and I were looking at the artist renderings of the Las Vegas Stadium earlier this week, and I'd seen a couple before.
Where was I?
You weren't here yet. We were just looking, hanging out, shooting the breeze pre-show.
I don't like that you guys have these conversations and you don't. Okay.
It is going to be a breathtaking building. It's just the location at the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Tropicana Avenue.
Yeah, parking would be somewhat difficult, I would think.
There's no way. There's no way to get to it. They may have plenty of parking. I don't know how you're going to drive to that stadium.
Sure.
I don't know how you're going to get there unless you're staying at the MGM Grand or Mandalay Bay. I don't know that people actually stay at Excalibur or New York anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Excalibur? That's where Mark Bertrand has.
Yeah, Bertrand's got the discount special there.
Yeah, well, he was a young man and he was, doing things on the cheap. So,
but Vegas is a sea of cheap options, and he chose the Excalibur.
I understand. I don't support his choice at all.
Okay.
I don't know how many people stay at the Luxor with the Inclinator anymore, but these are all the I just listed off every hotel that is legit walking distance in the summer in Las Vegas. And unless you're staying, and again, you don't want to stay at the last three I mentioned. So MGM Grand or Mandalay Bay. Okay? Other than that, getting to that stadium, good luck. I don't know how you do it. Go ahead. Walk down the sidewalk from Caesar's Palace.
In July.
It's 114 degrees.
I know.
Like away from the strip, away from the pavement and the asphalt and the glass and the steel. The actual air temp there is going to be like 125. Yeah, it's only a mile. It's only a mile and a half.
No chance.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's a terrible place to put a baseball team.
Yes.
Again, they have enough people there. It's like a metro area of I believe we talked about 3 million people. So you have enough people, and then they have a hockey team, and they can support that. And it was the first thing that came there, and there's that love of the first team that comes in, and that's great. And then I believe an NFL team can succeed pretty much anywhere outside of Los Angeles. So you have an NFL team, and it's not even about who comes to the games really anymore anyway. But, so NFL is kind of bulletproof at this point. Baseball, obviously, out of all the sports, is the hardest to fill. It's the place where there's the most games. It's a bigger stadium than hockey and basketball. There's just way more people required to come throughout the course of a season by far than anything else. And Hardy lived there, and he always has agreed with this. I wouldn't know so much about the locals. I just don't think the locals are going to care that much, and I do not believe that any tourists are going to go to that thing for several reasons. One, you just mentioned, it's in the summer, and that's like not when people generally go to Vegas. Two, it's not an event. Like if you are in Vegas and there's a pool with a big party going on, or it's a night game and there's a show and there's 7,000 shows,
right.
Some bands playing at that weird the sphere. 7,000 magicians are performing. Someone's doing a residency somewhere. You're not going to go to a baseball game.
And even if you do, let's say all those hurdles are jumped, you do make the trip to Vegas in the summertime. You do decide to choose baseball over any of these other more thrilling options. And let's say you get tickets for 2, maybe all 3 games of the set. That's what we're out here to do. Mm-hmm. We're out here to see the Red Sox play the A's. Once you go to that first game, all plans are soft in that town, and you're going to go out after that first night, and you're going to go crazy. And the next thing you know, we're not going to that second game, much less that third game. We might get flights home early. You're all done. So I think you're going to see a lot of empty seats in that place.
And the thing is, they scaled the ballpark down. It's like under $35,000. It's they
did.
I think they are. I'm remembering this off the top of my head. It's not one of those 40 or 50,000 seat deals. It's
that's almost every park in baseball is 40 or above.
I think it's under 40. I'd have to double check. I think it's under 40.
Wow, because if you looked, certainly Fenway, PNC is bigger than Fenway, but yep. Fenway's smallest. Fenway, PNC. Is there any other one that's not 40?
I don't know with all the additional
I don't
seating.
know about
Wrigley's weird.
But you have to remember, they expanded the hell out of Wrigley.
Right.
They used to have those rooftops.
No, there aren't many small ballparks, but factoring you guys are saying, I think the new Vegas ballpark's going to be smaller.
So they're admitting
33,000.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So they're just going, no one's going to come to these things.
Yes.
Which, by the way, 33,000 is still double what a NBA or
No, that
NHL
point's valid,
arena.
but
No. I know. I just look. Vegas didn't want it.
It's almost 5,000 less than Fenway.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's the smallest park in the
It's
majors.
going to be. Yes.
Okay, yeah. All right, because there's parks that are 50,000.
Right. This is not one of those.
Okay. Wow. So they're just conceding that no one's going to these games.
Correct.
Very good. And so it's Vegas didn't want it. This guy's a terrible owner. He's going to sell the team. And I'm not positive. I guess when they build the stadium, they got to be there for a little while, but I'm not positive how long they're going to be there. Now, Nashville and Salt Lake City are getting teams. And apparently everyone's going to have to move to Salt Lake City because that's where they're making all the they need all the minerals for the AI chips.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I saw an AI guy selling the advantages of AI and saying that they're going to need a lot of people to dig minerals in the Utah area.
Okay.
So maybe we'll all be moving out there.
Again, were we talking about this? How all the Silicon Valley companies that they're setting up secondary shops now in Salt Lake, separate, co-headquarters.
Interesting.
Like all the tech is going to Salt Lake, and they've made it very friendly for businesses.
Right, and I believe part of that is the mining.
Yeah, you go out in the actual grounds of the building. It's like, hey, if we need some more of that mineral, just go dig it up there in the front yard next to the parking lot.
We just all have to hope this bubble doesn't burst very soon because people are starting, these guys that are the heads of the AI companies are starting to get more and more a little squirmy and telling you what's what. And it's, I used to be afraid that AI is going to take over, and now I'm afraid AI is not going to do anything and that it's going to end up cost, 40% of the investment in, I believe, in the Dow is in AI now, and if that doesn't work out, Hachi Maji, you talk about a bubble burst.
That can't happen. It's not going to be like the .com thing. Well, the .com thing happened because everybody invested in all this stuff, and it turned out there was no way to make real money off of all of the .com investing. Well, I'm not sure how you make the money off the AI. It's cool, just like websites are cool, but I don't know how there's that much money to be made for everybody who's investing into it.
Okay, so you'd say the internet worked, right? Like people are using it.
Yeah, I think
the internet bubble burst because
I go online
because there was a bunch of companies that didn't end up doing anything that were incredibly overvalued. These AI companies aren't making any money yet, and they have, billions of dollars in funding, and it's just getting cycled through, and they're not making any money. So obviously, you would assume a couple of them at least become huge and very good, but at least some of them are going to not work out, and all that money is going to have gone for naught. And that's how these things happen.
I think the one AI company that's going to make it is the one that allows you to take a picture of somebody and then turn them into a great big fat person. That one's fun.
Yeah.
That's
Everyone loves that.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like that. So invest in that.
It's great for posting on Instagram and stuff. Makes you famous.
Invest in that guy. He's got to figure it out. Very quickly, I'm behind a paywall in this one, Beaton. But Nick Sogard was in the lineup last night, but he had missed his flight the day before.
He was coming from Norfolk, where the Woo Sox were on the road. He was supposed to fly to Dallas, which he did, and then he missed his connecting flight, so he had to stay a night in Dallas.
What, did he stop at Sbarro? Did he, or was
Quiznos?
That's right. Why did he miss it? Was his original flight late?
Yeah, his original flight was delayed.
Well, I would imagine Norfolk to Sacramento is not the easiest place to get to commercially.
That's true.
Yeah, that sounds like there's a couple plane changes. All right, look, we have to break.
And then we'll talk about the game.
Yeah, well, listen, there's only one game, so there's only so much to talk about. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
When analysts take over the game, take over the sport.
This is where you talk sports.
It happens all the time.
The Sports Hub. Touch your shot.
Kaboom! Did we all just take acid? Take acid? It's unbelievable.
Touch your heart. What's he talking about?
Like you, Fred, I'm not worried.
The Sports Hub.
Yeah. We are show by name, Toucher and Hardy. Hardy, the Red Sox played last night. So what happened?
All right, let's talk about this game as the Red Sox would fall behind 1-0 early, but in the top of the fifth they would answer.
He tees off on one to left. Jemai back to the wall, and it is gone for Jemai Jones. We're tied in the fifth, right on cue. How's that for timing, Jemai Webster?
How do you like me now?
Yeah.
I like you.
Yeah.
I like you just fine. Thank you.
Jemai Jones, two homers in 57 games with
Goals.
Detroit.
Did you hear him also say goals at first?
Yeah, you should have some goals with getting things right. More often, at least.
Anything else?
No.
Anybody score a touchdown last night?
No. All
Anything else, Brainiac?
All done.
Mr. James? Mr. Bill James?
Okay.
Sogard, who was late.
How the hell is this team winning?
Well, I'm about to explain that.
Well, first was Sogard late getting to town, but what would you say, John? Going for birdie here in the sixth?
Sure.
2-2. Sogard on a line to center. Bolte coming on, has to play it on a hop. Nick Sogard ties this game in the sixth.
Yeah. Gets called up, second base hit. Jemai Jones had 2 homers in 57 games for Detroit. He's got 2 homers in 8 games for Boston. Just another day.
Why'd they pull Jones? They pulled Jones after They pulled him for Duran?
My bet would be because they brought in a right-handed pitcher. Jahmai Jones is a platoon player.
Oh, okay.
So if there's a lefty, he's out there.
Okay, because Duran got 3 at-bats last night. Don't worry, he didn't get on base.
Oh, okay.
But he got 3 at-bats last night. Again, I'm not staying up to watch the game.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to bottom 9. Game still tied at 2. Jeff McNeil with a chance to win things for the home team.
Chapman's 1-2. Got him!
See you later! A stare and a glare, and Chapman does it again! He works around a leadoff double.
Well, congratulations.
There you go. All right, so we would go to extras. 10th inning. Wouldn't take long for the Red Sox to get something going once again.
2-0 to Monasterio. And he hits it well! Left field! Back to the wall! Gone!
We're playing for multiple runs.
Here it goes. See ya. Put a postage stamp on it.
Mario, how about it? Last at bat got domed. He comes up here and you're not bunting. You're on the road, a little different strategy, a little different feel.
He got fellatio?
Wow.
Saying he got domed.
Yeah.
He got piped.
Chad Tracy. And it pays off with a 2-run shot from Andrew Monasterio, his 6th of the year.
Yeah.
That's his 3rd hit of the night.
Yeah. Career high 6th home run of the season for Andrew Monasterio. But, of course, it's a game winner because that's what this team does. Guys who are random that have never done anything like this before are hitting.
It's pretty amazing.
Well, you look, we were talking earlier, Fred, earlier this season, they have 2 dangerous hitters in this lineup. They have Wilson Contreras and they have Wilyer Abreu. Including last night, Abreu's 2 for his last 31 and Contreras is 2 for 16. And they're still winning games, even though their best 2 hitters aren't hitting. That's what it's like. I've never seen anything like it. This team does not have major league talent up and down this roster. And they're still winning a ton of games.
But pitching, starting pitching, and their bullpen is really good.
Yes.
So they do have major league talent but just not in the lineup.
Well, they're leaning on Tolle and Jake Bennett.
Oh no!
It's
crazy. The lineup with this amount of success is crazy, and it's fun. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's hard not to root for them.
Oh, they're playing a hearts out. None of these guys have done this before.
And by the way, Yankee broadcasters are starting to get a little twitchy about having to face the Red Sox in the postseason.
Well, that leads me to my next point. That's where we are right now. If the season ended today, we'd be right back where we were at the end of last season. Yankees being the top wild card, Celtics, Red Sox being the second wild card.
Jesus Christ.
And you'd have 3 games at Yankee Stadium in October.
What if they don't continue to score goals, John?
I don't know. That's a good question.
It's just I don't know how much you can add. I just don't know what kind of piece you could add to, like, it's kind of like the team is playing so well as it is. I would almost just, I mean, you can add around the edges again. I mean, you made your move, but you didn't make, you made a move for a guy for term for a guy with term. And unfortunately he got hurt, and apparently he's coming back before the postseason. We'll see. But they've said 7 things now. At first, he wasn't going to miss much time. Then he was going to miss the rest of the season. Now he's going to miss 6 weeks.
This team is not good with injury timelines. Can we all agree on that?
Oh, well, I've never seen anything like it in any sport.
It's really
with the injury timeline.
Oh, they'll be back in 6 to 8 weeks. Really?
And I don't doubt this kid's tough, and I don't doubt this kid wants to play. And
they say 6 to 8 weeks, so the end of the regular season is 8 weeks from Sunday.
Correct.
So what's the problem, boys? He'll be back and ready to go. First game of the postseason.
Roman Gonzalez, I'm sorry, what's his name? Will be back in a couple of days. Roman Anthony will be back in a couple of days.
I know.
And by the way, every rumor you hear is they don't care about Meyer at all. Like, they just given up, which is odd. That he's, how old is he?
24, 25 at most.
Myers, 25?
Well, he's got to be younger than that. I'm just guessing here. I don't know off the top of my head.
Because if he's 25, fair enough. But if he's in his early 20s, I don't know. You invested a lot in that kid. I don't know if you just want to
He'll be 24 in December.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know, 23-year-old kid that you want to just give up on him.
They're tired. Well, I mean, if those reports are true, they're tired of it. He's been hurt every single year he's been in the Red Sox organization. He's just hurt constantly, and they have someone apparently younger and better right behind him.
Just from my own perspective, you usually with positional players, pitchers, you never know. Like crap goes crazy, and you got to be so careful with them. That is all off the table. Injuries with pitchers, it's like all like a whole. You got to be so careful. But positional players, there's usually a approximate span that maybe there's 2 weeks of cushion time, and then you figure that they're coming back. Like I've never seen anything like this. Like being that off. Like the Crochet stuff, I get. The Crochet stuff, Crochet wants to pitch, but they can't afford to have Crochet throw his arm off.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like they need him for the foreseeable future. They need him for years to come. He's very important. But a positional guy that's the chance of like really causing devastating injury coming back is not there. I just don't understand the timeline problem. Like Roman Anthony's we talked to everybody that covers this team. The Roman Anthony thing, and I don't know if he's not playing because he doesn't like to play with pain or what's going on. But it's not like if he was to swing a bat like he's going to damage his wrist and never be able to play again. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's just so weird that the injury timelines are so far off with positional players. I just don't understand it. I don't know if I've seen anything like it. It's pretty strange. You strain a wrist or strain an oblique, and they say you're going to be out for like 5 weeks, and then it's 10 weeks.
And it's see you next year.
Right. I don't understand it. I really don't.
Let's let Monasterio take his victory lap here.
So my plan was get him over, try to drive him in and get him over. So I get ahead in the count 2-0. So and then I try to be aggressive, and I got a homer.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you did. Good for you. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. We have a little bit of news for you.
You're listening to Hub Headlines.
Red Sox are now 2-1 on their road trip after another win in Sacramento late last night. 4-2 in 10 innings over the Athletics. This time it was Andrew Monasterio who had the big hit for interim manager Chad Tracy, a 2-run homer in the top of the 10th inning.
All of our guys are good at that. They understand that mistakes are going to happen in the game, and they just push forward. So that was obviously a massive swing in that particular situation, playing for two, and he gave us two right off the bat.
Jahmai Jones also went deep, and the recently called up Nick Sogard added an RBI single. Sonny Gray pitches tonight as the Athletics try to salvage a split of this 4-game series. Mass Live, the first to report last night that newly acquired infielder Curtis Mead won't need surgery on his broken wrist. He's been given an early timeline of 6 to 8 weeks for recovery, and that would bring him back to the team just a handful of days before the end of the regular season. Patriots didn't practice yesterday. They stepped things up this morning with the first padded practice of training camp. At the moment, the plan is still to be outside, rain or shine. Mike Vrabel meets the media at 9:30. That's a press conference we'll check in on live here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The U.S. men's soccer team will bring back head coach Mauricio Pochettino. He will reportedly sign a new 4-year contract. And New England Revolution captain Carlos Gil had a pair of assists last night. The MLS All-Stars beat the Liga MX All-Stars in Charlotte 4-3. Sports Hub Headlines are brought to you by Dr. Matthew Lopresti and Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, the hair doctor of Hardy, Wes Welker, and Christian Fourier. Call 1-800-GET-HAIR for your free hair loss consultation. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Actually coaching the game, or it's just that is. I feel so strongly about that. I can't even tell you.
Boston Talk Sports here.
What do we got?
The Sports.
I know. No, you don't know. Everyone agrees that I'm the only one who's not wrong.
Right or wrong, they're back. Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Toucher and Hardy, you can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. Hardy, it is time for the news. We had a big foot fetish guy. A girl, surprisingly, was meeting a guy at a hotel to sell her used sneakers to him so he could smell them and masturbate. And he ran off with her shoes.
Yes.
And when she took off after him to get her used shoes back, because he had not paid her the money that he had agreed to, he got in his car and tried to run her over.
There's a real situation. Instead of 400 cases of Coors, you got one pair of sneakers. Yeah, I'm out of here.
And again, I can only put myself in the position of the father of my daughter, and I would have said, honey, you've made a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes, starting with selling your shoes, then meeting the guy with the shoes, then chasing after him when he took your shoes, because, again, you've lost nothing at that point. It's not like you were selling 10 tons of gold and the guy went, yee, and ran off with them. You know, you were selling worthless crap except to pervs. Like a pervert ran out with your pervert stuff, and she said he wanted to smell her feet, which, again, is not his right as a consumer. You're not allowed to smell her feet. But let's not act like the guy from the news was like, well, why would he want to do that? Well, you can't figure it out. He wanted to smell her feet because he loves her feet, and he wanted to smell them because he wanted to see if they're the same as the shoes. So anyway, we got into a very clinical discussion on foot fetishes and why they may be.
Yeah, we're going to explore a little bit more of that at 8 o'clock this morning.
Well, as well as some other stuff as well.
Yeah. But for this story, we go to ABC 7 in Los Angeles, where there's a man that I think Mike Watt could probably relate to.
Oh, okay. From the Minutemen?
From the Horrible Ball Hog or Tugboat album, yes, that Mike Watt song speaks volumes to what this guy is up to.
Strange one here. A mystery man is making his mark on the streets of Pasadena, and it's not exactly something that you'd want to see or smell, for that matter.
Well, okay, here we go. Two local filmmakers are getting plenty of attention these days, tracking down the so-called pea bandit.
He's like a superhero.
He is.
Urine Man.
And Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes is live in Pasadena with why they believe these strange deposits are a form of art. Rob?
You know, street art has been all the rage in recent years, right? Banksy has left his mark on sidewalks and walls, and now Pasadena apparently has struck gold. Apparently they are
I get it. Well, I will take you to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and you go to the Warhol Museum, and you make it up to the third floor, and you can see the art that is probably valued at millions of dollars. That is, Warhol had guys pee on like copper or whatever, and that's the art. So, I mean, one man's treasure is another man's trash. I mean, that's in a museum of high regard. It's pee. That's all it is.
And you don't get it.
No. There's like, I get urinal. Like when they put the urinal upside down and signed it and said it's art if I say it is. That I understood. No, the pee just seems like he wanted to watch guys pee.
Perhaps.
You know.
flush with what some, but definitely not all, are calling art. It's a stretch of Colorado Boulevard in Pasadena that really doesn't stand out.
You know what? Why don't you talk a little bit normal being in market number
because
2?
Because it's a stretch of Colorado Boulevard in Pasadena that doesn't necessarily stand out. What's wrong with the way I'm speaking?
Well, you sound like you're vomiting words.
It certainly puts the P in Pasadena.
That doesn't even deserve a ding. I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Key's the right word to say, right? It is when you're talking about this guy, often referred to as Pasadena's Pee Bandit, responsible for placing bottles of urine on this specific utility box over the past several years, and not just one or two of them.
Stacks of them, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah, he's prolific.
So it is a utility box on the side of the road. You see him all the time. You see him in neighborhoods. It's just this metal box that's housing something. But this is where this guy puts his bottles of pee.
How the hell did anyone even notice this? Well, Hardy would, because he would be like, what's on that utility box?
Yeah, because I'm looking at the utility boxes anyway. I imagine it probably happens from time to time. Someone thinks, oh, someone left a bottle of Gatorade here. Sweet.
Where they have a sip and they go, that's not Gatorade. I'm going to put it on the person that's drinking out of a bottle that they find on a utility box. How did they discover it was pee? Huh? This feels a lot like pee when I pour it on my head.
Sacopee. We found a new fetish. Well done.
Wait a second. There's a bottle. Let me pour it on my head. Yeah, that's pee.
But my spidey senses weren't alerted. I just...
How many times could you walk by bottles on a utility box and just not know what it was in there or care? You would just say it was trash. I thought it was going to be something where, like, the guy was, like peeing on the floor of, running into stores and peeing on the floor. Is this even a crime?
I don't think it's a crime, but the reason why it is become...
It's a crime. It hasn't become... He's not selling them.
Well, these two TikTokers decided to start to document the Pee Bandit's exploits, and people started following it. Now, were they outraged? Did they want this man caught and jailed? No, but it did get people's attention.
Seems like a very minor prank.
Yeah.
Bottles.
Grant Yansura and his buddy Derek Milton are about 2 years into documenting the mysterious bottles, captivated by their placement, their purpose, their color.
It's probably just a bum. It's peeing in a bottle, putting it up there.
But if you're a bum, why pee in a bottle? Why not just
let it
on
rip?
The street?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The bush.
Why yell at the top of your lungs that the government put a chip in your brain?
Why fly a kite when you can just pop a pill?
It's just, the homeless people often do things that are kind of not understandable to the average person. They, a lot of times, could use some help.
All different colors, shades of,
Oh, that's nice.
From like an amber hue to like more of a healthy golden, lighter yellow, but some are really dark and concerning.
Okay.
But they're pee.
Okay.
But rest assured, they're all pee.
Yeah, they're all pee.
Boy.
We triple checked.
They all taste the same.
Part of our TikTok investigation.
Wait, this one's an amber hue. Yeah, but it's pee. What do you think, buddy? Pee. Interesting. This one has an amber hue, which is kind of gross.
Okay, something the pee guy might want to get checked out.
Okay, this is something the pee guy might want to get checked out.
You might want to check out how you can't get that dump out, because it sounds like you're straining.
But for Milton and Yansura, the secret secretor kept drawing them in deeper and deeper. Hidden cameras caught him one night, and that's when they learned he wasn't just pulling up on the street.
We saw a mysterious hand reach from over the wall at 2 in the morning.
He's out there at 2 in the morning.
You don't get up. You don't get up in the middle of the night and have to urinate. He groggily comes out in his house coat with his oil lamp and his little hat on, and he comes out and he puts the pee up there.
Well, I like how the original thesis was that this was someone driving by, maybe in their Maybach or in their Rolls Royce and stopping and pulling over and stacking the pee bottles on the utility box. Oh, no, it's someone.
It was Gavin Newsom.
It's someone reaching out from the bushes and putting the bottles of pee on there. Oh, you don't say. You don't say this person wasn't in their own vehicle that they're driving.
Well, no, it was someone getting out of a limousine, and they figured out it's the governor of California.
Update. This is not a motorist. This is someone walking the streets.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
This guy's kind of, he's getting around on foot. He's a bit of a drifter. This is the original First Blood. This is how it was supposed to go.
This was the original opening. And Brian Dennehy walks up on Sylvester Stallone as he's putting a bottle of pee. Now, this was, you remember, this is early 80s, so it's a glass bottle of Gatorade.
Oh, yes. Yes.
He's like, what are you doing? Put pee out here. And he's like, why? He's like, I was in Nam. I did pee. And he's like, let's get you out of town. And he's like, bleh, I want to pee.
Coming from the highway side.
That's the 134 freeway and not much of a shoulder there. Earlier this year, the city of Pasadena installed this steel pyramid on top of the utility box, but it was quickly torn off and the bottles returned.
So this was the city's fathers deciding, how do we stop this pee bandit? We will construct this pyramid to put on top of that way. You can't balance anything on top of a pyramid, especially a bottle with liquid in it.
Right.
That's what they told the Egyptians. They told the Egyptians they couldn't build a pyramid. And look what they did.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is not going to be deterred by that.
No.
This second pyramid holding on, but barely. Smashed enough to still hold a bottle or two.
Yay!
Anti-pee pyramid. Damn you.
That'd be funny if like all the community got together and they all like just came out and they started smashing it. He's one of ours.
We think he's an artist because I never really understand art or really get art. And when we couldn't figure out what was going on and I couldn't get it, that's when we realized maybe it's art.
It's a stretch, but maybe stream of consciousness art?
Get it? Stream of consciousness? Get it?
Kind of backfired on us because now we're the P guys. It's not really all it's cracked up to be. People honk at you. They say, you're the P guys, and it's not really what we wanted to be.
Well, you've invested 2 years of your life and
you are the P guy.
You're forever going to be a P guy. Yeah. That's what you are.
It's like the lamest Encyclopedia Brown book of all time. Took 2 years and you haven't even cracked the case.
It's just following some guy around.
Yeah, I got news for you. Why don't you spend 2 days standing in front of the, going across the street in a car until the P guy shows up? There you go. Case closed.
Yeah.
I saved you, what did I save you? 102 weeks.
Come on, P guy's not bad, right? At least you're number one, but...
Local news is really good.
This is Los Angeles. This is Market 2.
Yeah, I know.
After 2 years of doing this, the TikTokers say they're all done. They're all tapped out on this case.
Well, they haven't made the fortune that they had assumed.
Oh, it's too bad.
And I think tapped out was a very loose.
It certainly puts the P in Pasadena.
I like how it took them 2 years to realize what it is they were doing.
I'm also going to call them out as filmmakers that they couldn't find the guy in 2 years when he was consistently doing it. They just didn't have. They didn't want to sleep in the car. Like just one guy stays up, you got to stake it out.
Yeah,
that was Emilio Estevez and Richard Dreyfuss. Rosie O'Donnell was peeing in bottles, and that's how they. And Richard Dreyfuss ended up dating the pee person.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I'm going to have to go back and watch it.
Was that the second one or the first one?
The second one had Rosie O'Donnell because it was
yeah.
an act of desperation.
Right.
No, the first one did well enough where they made a second one.
Yeah.
There was no Rosie O'Donnell in the first one.
Sacco pee.
It's true. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Mike Dussault will be joining us.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
It's Fred. Summer in New England almost makes it work.
What he's done with this franchise, and it's just something we don't want to handle to the media. I keep that with the team and my team, and go on about that.
We are Toucher and Hardy. Mike Dussault is a writer and content producer for Patriots.com, and he worked on 2.5 Men. Which Mike Lombardi, Mike Lombardi put some posts up. He was a big fan, apparently, of 2.5 Men and crypto scams. So you got that, Mike Dussault. You made art that Mike Lombardi appreciates.
Now, people always would say to me, it's actually really funny. Like, people were surprised that 2.5 Men was funny, but I mean, it was a super hit. But yeah, it was hilarious.
Well, especially with Ashton Kutcher. That's when it really took off.
Yeah, that and yeah, some of the Lombardi posts have been from the Ashton era.
I believe they're all from the Ashton era.
Is that
well? Wow. When Charlie was going off the tracks with the Tiger Blood stuff, my poor bosses were like head and hands beside themselves because he was killing their golden goose in real time. They were not happy.
Okay, so we had Charlie Sheen up in studio like overnight one night. He had done an appearance like when he was doing those shows. He did one at the Guinness Arena, and my old partner got him, to his credit, stood up and said, "Do you want to come to this radio station?"
2011, I want to say.
And the crowd went insane, and so Charlie Sheen was like, "Okay, I'm going to go." And Charlie Sheen showed up. I came into the station, and we talked to him. And by the way, he was like really charming and really like intelligent. And the station, we were owned by CBS, and the station got mad at us and didn't want us to put the interview online, which was insane because it was at the height of the infamy of Charlie Sheen. He was touring the country, literally just sitting on stage, babbling into a microphone and selling out arenas. And we had him on, and eventually, obviously they let us put it up. But I'll tell you, I can see why he is a charismatic, popular actor. I mean, he was. If that's him at his worst, he was pretty damn charming and cool. I really enjoyed his company, so I liked him. But
Fred, at the height of that stuff, we were still trying to, even after it, we were trying to figure out still how to work with him. And he was going to come into the office for a meeting to kind of reset. And a couple of the girls that sat out front were like, "Ugh, Charlie Sheen, gross. He's coming in." He charmed the pants off of everybody. They were enamored with him. He just, he's that kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't dumb. He wasn't out of control. He was fun. He was very loose and very open with his phone. We called Emilio Estevez. We called his brother. We just were calling
Dykstra too, right?
Yeah, but Dykstra is
well, Dykstra was still in Colorado, a place he lived in.
Well, yeah, Mike, this is true, and I don't even know if you know this, Hardy. When we called Lenny Dykstra, this is not a joke. He was in a house that he was moving out of, taking the copper piping out of it as we spoke to him.
Yes, I do remember that. I believe I heard it live. Was he taking the wires too, or was it just the actual plumbing pipe that he was taking out?
No, he was taking the copper wire to sell. He didn't want the new homeowners to get the copper.
It's
copper
all valuable.
Piping. Yeah.
The wire, the pipes.
Yeah, he wanted or whatever is the copper in the house that's valuable is what he was taking out.
Nice.
Much like a heroin addict will go into a building and take out a bunch of an abandoned building and try to find that to sell for scrap. All right, Mike Dussault. You've been to camp. There are some reports that A.J. Brown was disappointing. Have you seen that? Is that the case? Has A.J. Brown been very disappointing?
Well, through 4 practices, pretty much just wearing helmets or bucket hats. They haven't really had that connection downfield. I'd say the short stuff has been fine, but I'd say with both him and Dobbs, you're going to need more than 4 practices to figure it out. So, but it's still obvious that A.J. Brown, super talented guy. I mean, when they want to get him the ball, they can. But we saw great accuracy from Drake last year. I think they'll figure it out. And, starting today, they're going to put the pads on here. It's a little wet, so we'll see what it looks like with the passing game. But I assume they'll probably be running a lot of red zone stuff, a lot of physicality.
But, okay, so Booty and May obviously have a connection, and that exists in the NFL, right? Quarterbacks have connections with certain receivers. If there was all this talk about trading Booty and things of that nature. This is a 2-part question. 1, would you trade him? And 2, if you don't, do you think Booty would be fine being a 3rd or 4th receiver?
Well, I think the second part's the big question because, right now we all kind of talk like he was gone, like he was, a lame duck kind of receiver. Just, we don't have a spot for him. And, I credit him. He came into camp and he shut up. He's not saying anything and he just makes plays downfield. And that's, something we've seen. I've always thought Kayshon Boutte has great hands, but I think what you have to admit now is that the guy just knows how to catch the ball deep. I mean, the catch, I'm sure you guys probably saw it in practice a couple days ago. I mean, just tracking the ball downfield. How do you get rid of a guy like that? We spent so much time over the last, 5-10 years. How do you get receivers? Clearly, he has chemistry with Drake. You never know when injuries are going to happen. So as you watch him practice and continue to deliver each time he's on the field, it's hard to say, can you just jettison this guy? Depth is too important. And, it's even more glaring as they get up to speed with the two new guys. So, right now, I'd like to keep Kayshon Boutte around because I think you're probably going to need him at some point.
Okay, how does that work financially and from his end and the team's end? Like, Boutte hasn't made a lot of money, and if he continues playing in the NFL, he's going to get another contract where if you value him, you're going to have to pay him more. Like you said, you have Dobbs, you have Brown. How does that work financially?
Chisholm.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to
Chisholm's
Boutte.
due a big payday. They call him young Justin Jefferson. How are they? I hope he doesn't make the team so much. Not because I have anything against him.
I need this to happen.
I don't need any more guys defending the little white receiver online. What are you talking about? He's great. Oh, is he? He's the greatest. That's right. He's the greatest.
He's making the most out of his chances with the second team. I would just say,
well, he's got first team reps. I've read that he has and Kyle Williams hasn't. Okay. All right. So anyway, is there a world where that works out financially?
Yeah, I mean, he's in the last year of his deal, so if he, doesn't want to sit out and hold out, which, I think some people maybe thought he would, they've got him under contract this year. So it seems like he's proceeding like he's ready to go. I'm not sure where his mind is at exactly, but I mean, clearly he's having a good camp. I would just say, you have chemistry with Drake May, and in Boutte's case, even if you go somewhere else, are you going to have that kind of chemistry with the other receiver, even if maybe you're getting some more opportunities? So I think it has to be a little bit tempting for Boutte to say, I'm working good with Drake. I know he's going to put the ball up to me. Maybe my best bet is to just see what happens, play this year out, hopefully, have a good year, build on what he did last year, maybe build up the volume a little bit, and then cash in free agency next year.
Okay, Deuce, I know you're the cockeyed optimist of the writers and content providers there at Patriots.com. Yes. So when Robert Kraft spoke and said that they had offered Christian Gonzalez the richest contract in Patriots history, and they offered him a deal that would make him the highest paid cornerback in history, did you immediately accept that as fact, or did even you, Mike Dussault, ask yourself, well, what do you mean by the most money? Because this has happened before. And the example I always think about is Wes Welker, when they said, well, we offered Wes more money than what the Broncos did. I guess with all the incentives and everything else in there, yes, it would have possibly amounted to more money than what he got from the Broncos. But what did you think of Kraft saying that?
Yeah, well, you're right. I mean, there's always ways to work contracts and when's the guaranteed money coming and, when are there void years or all the nonsense that they do. I've just overall been a cockeyed optimist about this because Christian Gonzalez has been, handling it almost in a unique way compared to what you look around the league right now with, guys holding out, looking for contracts, Bijan Robinson being one. I mean, Gonzalez probably had a little leverage if he wanted to sit out and do the old hold-in thing, but he's been out there. He's been doing everything they asked, going back to, even OTAs. Now we'll see today. I think everybody's looking at today as an inflection point when the pads come on. Remember last year, I think it was the first or second practice in pads that he tweaked his hamstring a little bit. So he said when he spoke to the media earlier this week, I'll be out there. Does that mean, I'll be out there full participant still? If he is today, and I mean, again, it's rainy, so I don't know. I mean, they might even move inside. I'm not even sure how much we'll get to see if they did that. But if he's out there today in full padded practice, continuing to participate, I just look at it as everything's a negotiation. These things go back and forth. And, there is wiggle room with, you can color it any way you want, highest paid player, highest annual average, whatever it might be. But I think right now things look like they're headed in the right direction, at least as long as Christian Gonzalez is out there. Now, if all of a sudden today he's not, and he's sitting out watching the padded stuff, then maybe you say, all right, maybe they've hit some sticking points. But right now I feel pretty confident that they're going to get the deal done.
Aside from Gonzalez, you brought it up. I mean, things are different today with the pads coming on. I don't mean to walk Hardy's side of the street, but what are you watching? What are you watching for today? What's the most important thing?
Who gets the looky-loo?
Oh, yeah. Got your peepers peeled. What's popular in your ocular?
Well, I mean, look, it's hard not to look away from Drake May and A.J. Brown and what's going on with that side of the field. But, I mean, I think the one-on-ones are always fun. This first day of padded practice, traditionally, they like to do, like I said, running game, physicality down on the Bill days, there'd be like goal line. You'd have fullbacks running head on into middle linebackers, So we'll see today. I'd like to see some of the matchups. I mean, I think we all know the tackles are questions. Caleb Lomu, the rookie, how's he going to hold up with some full contact? We saw, last practice that they had a little bit of running through those one-on-one situations, not in pads, but getting the drill down a little bit. So, one-on-ones are always fun. I'm sure, Bedard will be up there breaking those down as we will. So, Will Campbell going against Draymond Jones, Elijah Ponder, the second-year guy that really you're going to have to rely on. High hopes for him. How does he do going up against those guys? So those one-on-one matchups are fun, but certainly the team period, when it gets physical, you can feel the intensity ramp up. I think today is when you'll really feel like training camp is getting into gear.
We're toying with the idea of hearing from Mike Vrabel live here later this morning. If I assume you'll be at the press conference, Mike.
No, I think we're gonna do a live broadcast. So I think we'll be waiting. We'll be listening now.
All right. Okay. This still works. If you were there, you have one burning question for Mike Vrabel this morning. What is it?
Oh, that's a good question, Hardy.
And let's see if it gets asked and if it's worth our time to take this press conference live in a couple hours.
Sure. I mean, again, I don't know how much he would answer, but I'd like to get the question that you guys just asked me. What exactly is he, looking for today in terms of the padded stuff? And, he's never going to tell you exactly where his eyes are going to be, but I would say the rookies, seeing how the rookies hold up when the pads come on, because I think there's always an element in training camp. Things change when pads come on. There's guys who are not really going to pop running around the field in a bucket hat. But once things get a little bit more physical, that's when I think things get good. So, how are the rookies going to hold up today? How are they going to handle, Eli Raridan? He's a kid who maybe could have some opportunities if he can block and if he can show, he's ready to handle the physicality of the NFL. So that'd be what what do you expect from the rookies today? How do you expect them to handle it? That'd be my question.
And I'm just going to ask you, as you see this thing progress, is there any way there's a shakeup on the offensive line that has not been already decided?
I don't think so. I think things look pretty I know what they want to do. And I think really it hinges on the development of Caleb Lomu. I mean, right now, as it looks, I think he's going to back up 3 spots. I mean, he might back up both guard spots as well as the right tackle spot and even probably the left tackle spot. So can they get him ready to go? There's always injuries on the offensive line. I think there's a very good chance that you're going to have to stick Caleb Lomu in there at some point. But otherwise, it seems like they've got a pretty good plan of the 5 that they, entered with, with Campbell, Vera Tucker, Jared Wilson, Onwenu, and Moses. And those are going to kind of be the starters. And then, Lomu being not only that extra jumbo tight end to help block, but also backing up those spots. So I think he's an important player, especially, Morgan Moses is getting older. They're doing their best to manage him. But it's easy to see Caleb Lomu having to play important snaps this season. They got to get him ready this summer.
Because some people that cover the team say he was a first-round pick, and that's not an accident. Like if you do a merit-based camp and he shows, you have to make that decision, or camp didn't matter. Like if you have they invested an awful lot in that guy, so I would just keep an eye on that.
Yeah,
I will go on the record as that.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to Nate Solder when they drafted him. You had Matt Light, you had Sebastian Vollmer on the 2 tackle spots. It didn't seem like, there was an immediate spot. I mean, he was a higher first-round pick than Lomu was. And then, Vollmer got hurt. He had to get right in there. So, I think even if he's not starting right out of the gate, backing up 4 spots on the offensive line is a really important job. And again, I think he's going to play this year.
Yeah, I would have to imagine he's going to play this year.
Deuce, it's still summer. It's still Jaws season. Would you like 1 or 2 Jaws trivia questions to finish?
Give me them all, Hardy. Give me all the Jaws questions. I'm ready. I've been studying and everything.
All right. Well, there's 400.
Okay. Here we go. What type of knot does Quint ask Hooper to tie for him to prove his seamanship?
Little brown eel around a sheepshank, right? Is that what it is? Sheepshank?
Wow, that is correct. All right, how about this? One more. When they're in the fishing shack in Quint's fishing shack, and he pours him and Brody a bit of that moonshine. What is the toast? The quick rhyming toast that Quint gives to him before he downs his shot.
It's a great question, Hardy. I remember at one point I sent you an action figure of what they drank too, which was in fact a bow-legged women. Here's to swimming with bow-legged women.
Yeah, I even knew that. That's not such a good trivia question by Hardy.
Oh, come on, Fred.
All right.
All right, well, finish this. Here lies the body of Mary McGee.
For 18 years, she kept her virginity. Not a bad record for this facility. Was it 18 years?
All right.
Attaboy.
I don't think it's 18, but it's close enough. Died at the age of 103.
103.
For
I was trying to
15
keep it legal.
years, she kept her virginity. Not a bad record for this vicinity.
All right.
18.
Mike Dussault, he only talks about, he has a podcast where he just talks about Jaws. It's on 4 days a week. Mike Dussault also works for Patriots.
2 hours a day for 8 hours a week.
Yeah.
We're breaking it all down, all of it.
All right, Mike Dussault, Patriots.com. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
fellas.
And by the way, they traded up for Lomu. They keep an eye on that. When Perillo was in here, I caught what he was saying. When Perillo was filling in for you, he was saying they took him in the first round and traded up for him. Like, I'm not positive this kid, they're not looking for this kid to play. Will Campbell's pretty bad. And I know people can look and watch all 22s and tell you don't know what you're talking about.
Had everything to do with the injuries, Fred.
Because remember, leading up to the draft, this last year's draft, we all said, we'll see if they take a tackle in the first round. And they took a tackle. We'll see if they take a tackle in the first round and what that means. And they traded up for a tackle in the first round. We'll see what happens, because this will be delightful if Lomu ends up starting at a tackle position, because then it's like, well, so we're all stupid.
Right.
And you're so smart with like, oh, Campbell's very good. He was great.
Well, at the very least, he's going to be your starting right tackle by the midway point of the season.
Not if Moses plays every game like last year.
I think Moses is not going to play every game.
Well, I would assume that was the case, but I would assume that was the case last year. He was old last year and injury prone, and he played every game. So, look, if Campbell struggles at left tackle, you're not going to put this kid in at left tackle. You're just going to go, well, Campbell, you don't understand. He's playing very well. He's getting beat a lot, but it's not his fault.
Yeah, you don't know what you're looking at.
Yeah. Well, well, then neither did anyone watching the Super Bowl that analyzed it.
He was hurt. It's well documented.
Well, fine.
He was hurt.
He was really good against a bunch of teams earlier in the season that didn't have much of a pass rush coming on that side.
Good point,
That's
Hardy.
the other excuse, is that, oh, well, you don't understand. Like, he faced, like, 4 teams? He faced 4 teams. That's a lot of the NFL. Like, so anytime he's up against, you're a left tackle, you should be able to handle elite. I mean, look, they're going to beat you, but you should be able to, like, at least get in their way occasionally. I mean, by the way, actively during the Super Bowl, the people calling the game were spotlighting how terrible he was. So they don't know what they're talking about? This is an offensive lineman. How many Super Bowls have you watched where they've really honed in on how bad an offensive lineman was playing?
You don't mention the offensive line during the Super Bowl.
Because for the Super Bowl especially, you're broadcasting to a ton of people that don't watch football and could care less about the offensive line.
I can only think of 2 Super Bowls that I've watched where they've spotlighted offensive line.
What was the other one?
Well, the first one was Super Bowl 20 when Steve Grogan and Tony Eason got sacked about 85 times.
What?
Richard Dent was the MVP of the game that day.
But that was more of a Bears defense that was unstoppable.
And then the one where Cam Newton, Denver crushed Cam Newton. It was actually, I think, the Super Bowl in New York. Where Denver beat Carolina. That was Cam Newton's MVP season.
But did they spotlight a particular offensive lineman? They might have. I just don't remember.
As I remember it, they did. But your point is still well taken.
I mean,
it doesn't happen a lot.
I've only been sober for so many Super Bowls,
Yes,
so
I
we'll
understand.
see. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headline. Hardy.
No.
On the Sports Hub.
To that. And I'm also looking forward to finding out what's going on with Mike Lombardi, as it has been radio silence. I can't believe no one has come out and figured out what he is on leave for. Like what he had done internally that has him on leave.
So I've learned more about the availability of information from universities thanks to Jordan Hudson, and didn't realize you could get so much. But if it is a human resources situation, maybe that information isn't as readily available.
You figure someone would talk, that they're fed up enough and they don't like the guy enough that they would talk.
There are so many people that don't like him. Somebody knows something. There are active people digging to out this guy because nobody seems to like him.
Yeah, maybe they like the person, or maybe something bad happened and they don't want the victim to be drawn into something. In fact, you could, if you wanted to, make the logical point that the longer it goes without saying, the worse it is, because you're protecting the victim then. Yeah. If there is a victim, we wanted to go through this exercise, you could say that the university is protecting the victim at this point, because they're certainly not protecting Lombardi. If it was something that they felt, I'm sure they want him gone. I think they wouldn't be heartbroken if they didn't have to pay him out $1.5 million for being terrible, and being not only terrible but impossible to deal with, which everyone says, which is getting interesting. Because,
well, I think it's interesting too. Yesterday when we talked to, or the day before, whenever it was, when we talked to Dan Wetzel, who is, an ESPN guy, and he kind of makes his bones, around college football and having relationships and not necessarily, I would say a lot of these guys, especially nationally, don't say too much, that in terms of being like overly critical of certain guys and certain figures. Wetzel was more than willing to say like, oh yeah, this guy is not well liked and not well received and not thought of too highly by anybody.
And I always forget Wetzel's a fan of the show, so I felt like I had to because I go in so hard into the interview of making fun of Lombardi, but then I realized, oh yeah, he's from around here, he gets the show.
Yeah.
Can I take this call? Oh, can't. All right. Because we have someone. I can say this. We have a female in media that listens to the show that does not live in Boston.
Okay.
That has her own experiences with Mike Lombardi.
Oh,
is it Diana Rossini?
No, and no more questions because I really can't. Okay. And I don't want to, and I don't even want to dredge anything up. No one will ever figure it out. It's not in Boston. You'll never figure it out.
Is it Barbara Walters?
She's dead. But the thing is that that this person now has called in. I know who this person is. I don't know them, I don't talk to them, but I know who this person is, and they call in to kind of co-sign on the Lombardi stuff from a female perspective.
Sure.
But this is not. I don't know if what's really going on. I don't talk to the person. I just know they call in. A member of the media from another city calls in to discuss this. So I gotta tell you, because people have said dude, Patricia's a nice guy, you'd like him. People have said that to me. People I like have said that to me. So I don't have this disdain for Matt Patricia. I just am more fascinated how he blew it so badly in Detroit. I understand how he blew it.
I told you that, Fred, after we talked to him in Miami. The pre COVID Super Bowl, and things were still okay, and we were down there and enjoying ourselves. And he was getting ready to take over with the Lions, and he sat down with us, and he couldn't have been a better dude to hang with and talk with. And I thought, man, this might work. This could be the thing that really starts a true turnaround there.
And just to be fair, if I hear something like that, that's enough for me not to go the guy's a piece of crap.
Right.
Even that exchange, even a phony exchange, is enough. But you have to understand that Belichick and especially Lombardi, I don't know anyone who's had or talked to anyone ever on air, off air, that's had a positive exchange with them or has not left disliking them actively. One person, all it takes for me to not like go nuts.
Right, and go all in, and this guy is just across the board a bad dude.
Yeah, like if one person goes like, I like him, like in my life he's always been nice, or she's always been nice to me, then I'm like, okay.
But the most you'll ever get about Belichick is, oh, he's actually can be like funny in a sarcastic way or something like that. I've never heard enough from somebody who's had personal interactions with Belichick to think that maybe I'm just off. Maybe
Stockholm syndrome is what I would call that. It's like when someone's such a dick that for like 1 second they're like not a total dick.
Yeah.
But no, I've heard terrible things. But Lombardi, I'm getting an email apparently sent to me.
Oh boy,
from this person.
Okay.
It's going to be transcribed via email. But I don't know how much of it I mean, it's not really fair to Lombardi. I don't really know how much of it I can, like, without, like, saying it. So, like, we'll see what I do with that. But suffice it to say, Lombardi's not a good person.
People are knocking each other over to rush to a microphone.
And now it's getting, like, he's, like, a bad guy. Like, not just a pompous idiot. Like, he's a bad guy. Like, let's just say that. Not a good person.
It's a matter of time.
Like Belichick, I haven't heard he's like, I know he's gotten people fired and stuff, but I haven't heard he's been like a real creep.
Yeah.
Maybe Lombardi not in that boat. Yeah. No. Let's just say some people are not surprised that he's on administrative leave for an HR issue. All right. We'll be back in just a moment.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way on the Sports Hub.
Athletics, Jahmai Jones added a homer. Sox lead is still a game and a half on Cleveland for the second American League wild card. They'll pitch Sonny Gray against the Athletics tonight. Mass Live was the first to report last night that newly acquired infielder Curtis Mead will not need surgery on his broken wrist. He's been given a tentative timetable of 6 to 8 weeks of recovery. That would bring him back to the team just before the end of the regular season. Patriots didn't practice yesterday, but the pads come on for the first time at training camp this morning. It starts at 10:15 in Foxborough. It is open to the public. It is still scheduled to be outside. Mike Vrabel will meet the media at 9:30. That's a press conference you can catch live here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. And New England Revolution captain Carlos Steele had a pair of assists last night. He helped lead the MLS All-Stars to a 4-3 win over the Liga MX All-Stars in Charlotte. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
The Sports Hub. 3 legendary franchises on one legendary radio station. It's the Sports Hub.
And we're back. Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Seemed like the issue as much as he stole her shoes. He ran off with the shoes. She chased him into the parking garage and then claims he tried to hit her with a car. And we got into kind of the psychology of why people have foot fetishes very briefly. And there was callers with some interesting ideas. I told you the Freudian thing that I had heard. And then Ryan Beaton, our own Ryan Beaton, Hardy, presented you with something.
Yes, a worksheet that he found, the Integrative Sex and Couples Therapy, which was put together by Tammy Nelson, PhD.
Kaboom.
Who is a series of handouts and worksheets that she works on and gives out to couples, where couples go through these worksheets to try and find some compatibility. And in this specific case, rates their interest in different sexual fantasies. Now, Fred, you said yesterday that you are not very inventive or creative, or you don't have any proclivities that necessarily set you apart from someone else. You described yourself as maybe even boring.
I have thought, in the last few years that maybe I'm a little boring.
And we think that John maybe is much more exciting. After all, he has his smothering fantasy.
But it's not just a fantasy. We learned that this fantasy is not from just coming across it on the internet. It happened in his personal life.
Right.
It was suggested. He got into more detail off air. It's between you and I, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Oh.
But kind of like who the person was. I don't know the person, but kind of
Right.
who the person was and what the situation was.
I prefer to be ignorant of that. I prefer to have it be just a lady who asked John in a moment of ecstasy, shall I sit on your face and leave no space?
Well, that's not necessarily what, that didn't necessarily not happen. It was more like about the woman who wanted it. And I wanted to hear all about it, actually.
Yeah.
I was very interested. So if you weren't interested, you and I are on different pages because I wanted to hear all about it.
Maybe I hold John in higher esteem, and I.
No, I think
I don't know if
that's
coming
safely
off
not
that way.
true. No.
I don't know if that's coming off.
I have an
that way.
idealized image of John, and I want to keep it that way.
Sure.
No,
Okay.
John. Anything you want to tell me about that, I'm all ears.
But
And I won't say it on air.
Okay.
But like it's, and because I wouldn't say it on air because it involves another person that's not John. But he kind of told me like the backstory and who the person was. I don't know. Again, I don't know the person. I've never seen the person in my life. The name didn't mean anything to me, but it was kind of like the whole thing. And I, John, for one, was very interested.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well,
As I would be with anyone who had some cool sex story. I mean, I'd be like, sure, I want to hear it. Like, it's like an adult friend of mine. Yes, I would like to hear that. Okay, go ahead.
I thought perhaps you were doing yourself a disservice. Maybe John isn't all that kinky after all, and what better way to find out than to put you two through this couple's quiz? Now, not necessarily to find your compatibility, but just to see who is in fact more adventurous, who is more open-minded.
Can I just real quick ask how many questions there are?
9.
Okay, so let's do the 9, and then we'll have a guest, and then after the guest, we can add up our scores. So let's write our 1 through 5 down.
Perfect.
And then we will we'll see what's going on.
Yes,
and John and I will both be very honest. So 1.
Well, now hold on. You just stop. All right. We have a name for the segment, thanks to Jay Stu. We're just going to call it
Bow Chicka Wow Wow.
Thank you, Jay Stu.
Did you have to spell that out for him, or you just say this?
This is all Jay Stu.
He's a big fan of very early porn.
Okay.
Now, so you don't have to guess, what the ranking system is. It is 1 through 5, but Jay Stu has the actual rules here. For you.
Okay.
Mark each item with a number 1 through 5. 1 means you are not at all excited by or interested in the idea. 2 means it holds almost no or some interest for you. 3 means you are somewhat or very erotically curious about it. 4 means you have or could have fantasies about it now. 5 means you want to take this fantasy into action. Bow chicka wow wow. Bow chicka wow wow. Bow chicka
I like the steamship porn.
Yeah.
It means you really want it.
All systems go.
Okay.
So here we go. Bow chicka wow wow. And 1 through 5. 1, you're not interested. 5 means you want to actually put this into action. Jay Stu?
Kissing a stranger.
Okay, can I just, not like today, but like in a world where you weren't with a significant other? Well, okay, just whatever.
Kissing a stranger.
You have your answers?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to number 2.
Making love in water.
Making love in water, which, as Elaine told us in Seinfeld, the making love in the bathtub does not work, as it was depicted in The English Patient. I would co-sign on that, but making love in water, that is number 2.
You did peanut gallery. Stop trying to influence the study. You would not be a good scientist.
Being seduced by an older woman.
Number 4.
Hold on.
Okay, all right, hold
on. Because that's kind of a general term. It depends. How old is the woman that's seducing me?
I would assume like a mature woman.
In your case,
An octogenarian in my case? Go ahead.
Yeah.
No.
Hospice care.
Okay. Then that changes my answer.
No, it doesn't.
Being dominated by a woman.
All right, gentlemen.
Sex with someone while wearing shoes. No socks?
Okay. 5. Okay. Who cares?
I don't. Oh, that's a big thing.
It is?
Leaving the shoes on?
Oh, for you, yeah. If they have like sensible sneakers on, like white Keds. Right, if it's like nursing shoes.
Oh, God.
You're very excited by that. I didn't know these were going to be so tawdry as wearing shoes.
Sex with someone wearing a costume. It's got to be a wrestling costume, right? Miss Elizabeth or Sensational Sherry or
Hacksaw Jim Duggan, just carrying a 2x4 and walking around saying, "What do you want out of me?" Okay.
Having toes sucked.
Having toes sucked.
Having your own toes sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful little feet with red nail polish, which is the color of love and passion. And I love you so much, my love of my life. I will always love your perfect feet.
Is he done?
Yes,
Okay.
now it's done.
Now it's done.
I got to know it yesterday. It's very hard for me not to step on things, as
I
you
know.
know, but I was able to discipline myself.
Using a cane, riding crop, or whip to inflict sensation.
Okay, and this is the final question.
This is the final question.
Washing each other's hair.
What? Okay. All right. Let's just do this because we have a couple minutes. John, do you have any 5s?
I do not have a 5.
Okay.
I do not have a 5.
Okay, I do.
Okay.
All right. Do you have a 4?
I do.
Okay. Do you have 3s?
I have 2 of them.
Okay. Do you have any 2s?
1.
I didn't
1,
even
2.
use 2. It just seemed pointless to me.
Slightly more than I have 1, 2, and the rest are 1s. Yes.
Okay, and so you do have 1s.
Yes, I have 5 1s.
All right, let's go around. Ryan, Nick, and Hardy. Who do you think will have the higher score? These are not crazy. These are because the ones that are crazy,
They're
we
pretty
can
crazy.
Washing each other's hair.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
1. No. What are you, nuts? Who do you? Let's go around. Who will have the higher score? You know, we couldn't because of the government guidelines read like the super crazy ones. Because I'll give you a little insight. When you say you're giving a sex quiz, it perks people's ears up, and then you got to kind of keep it a little tame. So there isn't anything like the smothering or anything like that John might be into. But out of these fairly benign things, who do you think will have the highest score? Nicholas.
I think it's going to be Wallach.
Okay.
I think he has there's something about him.
Despite the fact that you're kind of like tipping your hand on this a
Yeah.
bit, Fred, asking about the scores and saying that you did have a 5, I still think John is going to have the higher score in this.
Okay. And Ryan?
Well, I'll mix it up. I'll go Fred.
Okay.
For any reason other than but the action is the juice. That's fine if you just want to have something on the line.
Well, John
here.
said he had a lot of 1s, and Fred said he had a 5. So just a little,
Okay.
little bit of
I
mental
have
math.
I have some 1s too. Like there were some things that I have zero interest in, but this is going to be different because these things, none of it seemed crazy to me.
Right.
So 1 meant what?
Mark each item with a number 1 through 5. 1 means you are not at all excited by or interested in the idea. 2 means it holds almost no or some interest for you. 3 means you are somewhat or very erotically curious about it. 4 means you have or could have fantasies about it now. 5 means you want to take this fantasy into action. Bow chicka wow wow. Bow chicka wow wow. Bow chicka wow wow.
I'm changing one of my scores.
You okay with your scores, John?
I'm thinking about changing one of them.
So let me just say for anyone who may be listening, this is in a world where this is just my proclivities. This isn't anything I'm doing today. But these are things that I could or would be interested in the world, right? Like, it's not today.
No,
necessarily. Correct. Okay. Well, John, this is going to be very interesting, and thank you to Jay Stu for doing that, because Jay Stu's also read some things about feet, if you remember.
I mean, a couple of things.
My goodness. Very beautiful feet and pretty good toes. I love them. Enjoy your weekend.
It's funny because there are some people that, even though it's always so benign, that they get very freaked out whenever I especially talk about sex. They don't really care about Wallach or Hardy doing it. But when it's me, it just disgusts them to such a degree. The idea that I could ever possibly be having sex is so revolting to them that they get very upset. Like, all you talk about is sex. Is like, well, no. And secondly, it's a little shameful that or makes me not feel great that you think I am talking about it all the time because it disgusts you so much, and B, that these benign conversations that we have are so revolting to you, and not to Hardy and John.
I think people just have trouble imagining you in any type of passionate.
Well, it's like. Oh boy!
Yeah, they have trouble imagining you doing that.
Is it working? Are we doing it? That's not gross, right?
No, but it's also tough to imagine you in any type of
or just me like this,
a passionate situation where you're not angry. Like, most of your passion is under the umbrella of anger.
That's not fair.
It's true.
That's not fair. I'm a very, very mediocre lover.
Bow chicka wow wow. Bow chicka wow wow. Bow chicka wow.
I've had girls like me enough to pretend to enjoy what we're doing. Believe me.
Crush me, Mommy.
All right, well, we will find out the results.
With those perfect feet. Oh, crush me, please, Mommy.
We'll have Tom Karen take the quiz, too. He'll be into it.
He's half punchy from last night, sure.
Oh, that's right. He had to do post-game last
Yeah.
night. So Tom Karen's going to be joining us. Lots to talk about with the Red Sox. We will be talking to him in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy will be right back.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. Tom Karen, who is nice enough to join us at this time every Thursday, even when he's up late. From Nesson, you know him from all the Red Sox coverage. Red Sox win again last night. They keep the dream alive. Tom Karen, thank you for joining us, sir.
Good morning, guys. How we doing?
We are doing well. So let's just start with this. Multiple situations with the injuries. Curtis Mead's injury, at first it was not going to be a big deal. Then it was going to be for the season, and now he might be back by the end of the season.
Timelines are great with this team, Tom.
Which I mean, even you can. I mean, not even you, but I think even you would say that. Let's be a little cautious with timelines in the Red Sox with positional players. Certainly. What are you hearing about that?
Yeah, well, not much. The reports are that he won't need surgery. That's the latest. He just got back, seen a hand specialist. I mean, the word I'm getting, it's non-displaced, which means he wouldn't need surgery, and it would be on the shorter. But you're still talking, I think, 6 weeks, right? And there's 8.5 left. And the thing I get confused on is that 6 weeks till he's rehabbing or 6 weeks till he's playing.
Oh.
I don't know. You know, it's going to be most of, if not all, the rest of the season. But the whole, I want to go back real quick. There's real frustration from the early discussion of the injury to Roman Anthony and Garrett Crochet, right? Roman Anthony they said, we don't know if he needs to go on the IL. He hasn't hasn't been able to swing a bat in anger since. Garrett Crochet, they kept saying it's going to be on the short side. Those two, you got legitimate reason to be frustrated. The whole X-rays are negative immediately after the game. We said in the post-game show, it was just 1 a.m, so nobody saw it. But J.P. Ricciardi was with me this week. First thing he said, he goes, yeah, you got to wait till tomorrow when you see the swelling and probably get an MRI. They got the MRI. Don't put this in the same category as those two things. It's pretty common that the initial X-ray on something is negative, and then they find something the next day. So I don't put it in the same class as the frustration of the Anthony and Crochet thing.
I guess, too, Tom, especially when they're doing the initial imaging at the ballpark, where it's not as comprehensive as what they do
in Sacramento. Not just in Sacramento. They probably had to send him to some shopping plaza down the corner.
Well, I was under the impression it was just a strong flashlight, and he held his wrist up and put the flashlight on the other side.
Yeah, the blue light. They had to put those glasses on and check the black light.
Well, in Sacramento, they were afraid of taking his soul by taking photographs of him, photographs of him, much like they were in the 1800s. Now, so yeah, I always wonder why they even announced the X-ray, because
That's
you're
the
right.
Question.
Yeah, because the X-ray, I know from experience with my son, like the X-ray is of no consequence. Like the X-ray, and then you're just like, okay, nothing appears to be broken, and then it's just a question of when you're getting the MRI. And sometimes the MRIs aren't any good unless you put dye in, and they're very reticent to put dye in to the MRIs because there's only so many times you can do that. So, it is odd that they would even come out with what the X-ray said, because, Tom, you are correct that oftentimes not the.
I wish they'd say we'll see tomorrow.
Right.
But dodge the bullet, right? Like somebody's probably already making a T-shirt on it. It's just those are the things you don't really need to say. Chad Tracy's still fairly new at this, obviously, but Curtis Mead himself after was like, "Yeah, it's a little sore. I'll be back there tomorrow."
But that's what a player is going to say,
course.
right? Like that's like you ask a player, and then you would be. You want to hear them go like I want, and they want to play. They don't want to be hurt, like right, like so they want to play. But you're right. The manager maybe better not to jinx things and go like I think we dodged a bullet because you don't know. All right. So that is what's going on with that. But we are approaching the trade deadline. The move for Mead, was a young player with term left for a young player with term left. They still. Have not made a move where they're like, we are selling the future for the present. And from what you're hearing, could that be happening?
Well, yeah, I know they're trying, yes. But you're right. They have not done that yet. I do find it interesting, the Franklin Arias thing. I was surprised they hadn't promoted him to AAA earlier. And then the way they did promote him, as an evaluator told me from another team, it's unusual that they move a guy up midweek. The minor leagues are 6 days and Monday off. You almost always see guys moved Monday, right, on the day off. They kind of moved him up midweek. And you wonder if are they finally like, all right, we might need this guy to play for us by the end of the year, or is it we want people to see him here and see what he can do at AAA before the trade deadline next Monday? So I think it's in play. I think everything's in play, but you're right. It's interesting because in an era where in baseball you don't see a lot of dude for dude trade, like it's almost always a few prospects for a major league or something like that. But Craig Breslow has done these. You go back to Nick York for Quinn Priester. They're both number one picks, and then Perales for Jake Bennett in the offseason. Now you had this one, which is a pitcher for a hitter. He actually does a lot of those one-for-one deals, and that's neither here nor there. You're taking a guy off the 40-man roster and adding another guy to the 40-man roster. What we haven't seen is that the Crochet deal that you saw in the offseason. He's done them when he's had time to build them. We haven't seen that at the trade deadline, and you need one. I mean, even with Mead, you probably needed another bat, and now you definitely need a bat. And you watch this team, they keep winning, they keep finding a way. You got the Dodgers the weekend, but by and large, it's a pretty good stretch. You got more of the Athletics next week at Fenway. Like, there's a chance to maybe put pressure. You're 4 back of the Yankees for the top wild card spot. You need a bat. You need to add power to this team. We'll see if they do it.
Well, if Arias is in play, they're looking for a major splash, right?
Yeah,
Like
and I don't know that he is. I mean,
no,
again,
I know. Yeah, but it's interesting what you said that that an evaluator told you what they did is interesting. He's not only in their system, but he's a huge prospect in baseball. If they were in theory willing to move him, you don't get more trying to win than that. Like you if you're willing to give up your top prospect, who's a top prospect in baseball, which again we don't know, but given what they did, it's a possibility. That's pretty interesting. Do you know what kind of bats would be available? Have you heard, like, do you have any theories on a top prospect? And
well, the Otto Lopez, right? Like, you hear the Otto Lopez talk. Like, that's the kind of guy you'd have to get back. A guy who's under control, a guy you can hit. And it's going to take more than Arias to get Otto Lopez, obviously. There's been a lot of Zach Neto talk. I don't trade Franklin Arias for Zach Neto. Neto gives you power. Neto's controllable. Neto leads the American League in strikeouts. And you don't win in the playoffs in this day and age with a lot of bunts and a lot of small. You got to have some power. But man, I don't know. He's 150-something strikeouts with 2 months left in the season. I think the power would be great, and I would take him. I'm just not trading a top 10 prospect in the game for Zach Neto. But Lopez is interesting. The catcher in Colorado, I don't see why they would trade him, but that's interesting.
The Yankees want him too.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. JP Ricciardi, again, this guy was a general manager for a long time. He said last night, he goes, I can't believe there haven't been any trades yet. He goes, usually the teams that are dead, Colorado, like these deals, San Francisco, they should be moving guys. He goes, that tells me that they're talking to a lot of teams and the price is going up by the minute, because the only reason you're not making a deal early is because you've got so much interest in your players. And it's such a seller's market because so many teams are in this thing. Houston's on fire. They're back to 500. They're back in it. Seattle still thinks they can make a run, even though they're a mess this year. Minnesota pulled its season out and is kind of in the thing. So, that makes it, these guys are going to be really hard to get, and you're going to have to move Arias if you start talking about those big names.
I'm wondering how much of the Red Sox front office looks at the middle infield and said, we got guys playing shortstop into second, but we don't have a shortstop or a second baseman on the roster, which is the desperation here. I mean, Andrew Monasterio is playing well, but he's not an everyday shortstop. And you had Sogard at second base. You have Romy at second base. Those guys really aren't second basemen. Do you think there's a desperation because of this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the reason Meade was a good fit. I think they looked at him and said he can be our second baseman for a while. And with Meyer not just injured, but really just a question mark now of what he's going to be on this team.
Okay, so let's focus on that for a second, because that is interesting. So Meyer is still a kid; he's still 23 years old.
Yeah,
it does seem like what you're hearing is they're kind of throwing their hands in the air with him, and I see young player. I mean, Jordan Walker this year, he was terrible for 3 years, and now he's an all-star. Like, if it was you, would you give up on Meyer this quickly?
No, I don't know. Give up is wrong. No, absolutely not. But when he comes back from the injury, I don't know that he's jumping right back on. If I'm running it, he's not back on my major league roster right away. Like, it's not just a rehab. This guy's got a hit, and they might have rushed him up, because offensively he wasn't ready. And so that just means, Marcelo Meyer isn't a guy you're penciling in for September if he's healthy. He's a guy who might have to go back to AAA for the year, maybe start next year in AAA because he's really young. And you don't give him up. Curtis Meade's one of those guys, right? He wasn't anything until this year. He's 25 now. And so, yeah, you don't give up on him. And I don't put him in much. I don't think of him much for a trade right now because it'd be an all-time low what you get back for his value. And I build up his value again. I just don't know if it's at the major league level.
That's it?
That's it.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
All right.
My questions have been answered. Tom is just that good.
All right.
Well, thanks. That's just because you didn't stay up late enough to have more questions.
That's probably closer to the truth.
I got
yes.
one. How come we don't get a getaway day start time for this fourth game of the set?
That's the question.
I saw that. I'm like, 9:40? What are we doing?
The only thing that makes sense is it's like 120 degrees in the afternoon in Sacramento. I mean, I guess that might be part. And they're only going to L.A., right? They're going to the Dodgers, and Sacramento's staying home tomorrow. I mean, but my God, I'd love a 4 o'clock start today.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
We all would.
Sorry.
Oh, well.
Yeah, thanks.
Well,
Okay.
Listen,
Sorry.
it's day baseball, baby. They're getting away from it. Sacramento's a town that comes alive at night.
That's right.
All the clubs after the game's over.
Yeah. All right. Well, Tom Karen, thank you so much for the time, sir. As always, we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
All
Tom.
right, there
Thanks,
you go.
Tom.
Appreciate it. Usually Tom goes very late. That's why I was surprised. But
No, there's only so much you can talk about at a game in Sacramento.
Deftones from Sacramento. Anybody else from Sacramento?
I know there's bad bands from Bakersfield, the Corns and PODs of the world.
See, Bakersfield gets a bit of a bad rap because they did have that whole Bakersfield beat. You know, what's his name? Dwight Yoakam is a Bakersfield guy. He's good.
I think that Hank, not Hank Williams, but
the guy from Hee Haw, Buck Owens.
no,
I think he's-
Waylon Jennings, I think, is a Bakersfield.
Yeah,
guy.
it's a Bakersfield has like a good like Americana, real country, roots scene going on.
Tesla apparently. from
Sacramento,
Cowboy Modern
I've
Day.
never been to. I've been to Bakersfield. If Sacramento's the armpit of California, Bakersfield is the a-hole. It's awful.
Where is Bakersfield? I don't even know.
It's inland again. It's like just this gross desert. There's kind of some hills nearby. I was only there for a weekend once, and I never wanted to go back.
Oh, wow. It's not by anything. It's like halfway between San Francisco and Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Interesting. Why is that a town? Why did they decide to put a city there? That's one of those questions that there's not a lot of answers to. You know, like Kid Rock said, this is for the questions that don't have any answers.
Right.
You know?
The midnight something, the topless dancers.
Which is why, that's for the kids. That's why you couldn't watch Bad Bunny. You needed that song. And all his heroes in the methadone clinics.
That's right.
That's what the kids needed to hear. That's the America.
See, Bakersfield and Sacramento, they're almost the same like distance from the ocean. So they're like, middle of the state, east-west wise. And there's just, why there?
Well, on the map that I'm looking at, Sacramento is not even listed as a city. Bakersfield is.
Oh, boy.
But
The
Monterey
capital
is.
The
but
capital of the state of California is not listed as a city?
No.
Oh, boy.
No. Now it is. Now I've zoomed in, and now it is.
Okay.
But Sacramento's got that. It's. I didn't even know Sacramento was north of San Francisco.
Yes.
Why is it so hot?
I don't know.
San Francisco cold.
It's not that far a drive either. It's not an ungodly 7 or 8 hour drive to San Francisco from there either. It's closer than that.
Oh. Well, listen, we just had a little fun with geography.
Yeah.
And and you can't ask for more than that. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headline.
Red Sox are 2-1 on their. But
I couldn't probably do it, but nonetheless.
But you figure it takes maybe 20 minutes and away we go.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
It's one 1 foot by 1 foot machine that is just responsible for all those things. I don't know what it's called, but you could see these guys producing the songs, and it's all done on this one track.
Was it the Roland? God, what the hell was
808?
808.
No, 808's before that. 808 is like early hip hop. But like when EPMD did You Gots to Chill, they had to Paris had to extend tape like to loop, and it was like going because it's just like the same thing over and over again. He had to like reel to reel something, like 30 feet long, so it would go through this thing. It was like way more difficult. And then they did that. They got going with that. The 808 is similar to that, but I think that it moved up a little bit.
Did you ever have to cut and splice tape in radio?
When I very first got into radio, there were like a couple of I did it. No, I learned how to do it, but I never had to do it for commercials. I had to put reel-to-reel tape into a computer.
Okay.
But I didn't have to. I didn't have to split. I knew how to do it, but I didn't have to do it at 99X. They had moved past that.
Yeah, those were the early on at that station in Lansing, which would not hire you, Fred.
There were plenty of stations that wouldn't hire me. They were cruel with their response.
Yeah. Well, I started there doing overnights, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. $5 an hour. Didn't have to do any production then. When I moved to 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., yes, that's when I started having to voice commercials, and I would do them while I was on the air. But it was all on reel to reel. We didn't have any digital recording there yet. So if you had 3 or 4 commercials to do during the night, you pick your music bed, you get the script. The easiest way to do this is just go straight onto the card.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
No, let's not go into the cutting and splicing tape. So
editing music on a reel-to-reel sucks.
Yeah, and it just go
awful.
boom. Panchero's Mexican Grill, home of the 2-pound burrito. Stop by any night between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. You would learn to do a 60-second read, you recorded commercial style, and then just fade, stop, whoo. Got that one done.
Yeah.
No cutting and splicing on that, baby.
Well, if I'm talking to people in college right now or people looking to get into an industry, I can tell you this from experience. I'm so lucky I didn't get any of those jobs that I applied to. I went to the post office and I sent out maybe 100 tapes to everywhere all over the country, and I didn't get any jobs. And so I just ended up moving to Atlanta to live with my best friend and try to establish a gay relationship, which he just completely flaked on it.
Yeah, he's a real coward.
A lot of false promises. But I moved in to moving with my best friend, and I'm so fortunate that I didn't get any of those jobs at real radio stations, because I ended up working in Cumming, Georgia, which I could drive to from Atlanta. And then that led to working at 99X, so I didn't have to bounce around all over the place. Because if I would have gotten that job in Lansing, because I would have had to move. If I would have gotten that job, you were already there. I would have had to move to Lansing. Then, I would have been making $5 an hour in Lansing, and I wouldn't have. Who knows where my career would have gone at that point? Who knows what the program director would have let me do? You just don't know. So sometimes fate, it seems like things are going wrong. Because I remember I was just I'm never going to work in radio. I don't know how to do it. My dad worked at an ad agency, and I had someone at his ad agency ask a guy at a radio station if salespeople ever got to be on the air. Because I knew I could get probably a job in radio sales. Because it's for losers. No, I'm just kidding. But I knew I could probably get a job in radio sales, but I was that desperate. I was I had no idea how to get into it. But there you go. Oh yeah, I was told by the station in Lansing that Hardy worked for was especially mean. They sent a letter back, because if stations bother to send a letter back, a lot of times it would be hey, you got some promise, we're not hiring right now.
Right.
But the one in Lansing was you're never going to work in radio. Your tape is so bad that you'll never work in radio, which I can see looking back on the tape. It's very embarrassing, and it couldn't even be played on the air right now because it would be considered extraordinarily offensive. But it is interesting that the Edge in Lansing was the cruelest of all the stations, and Hardy.
I wonder who the PD was at that time.
So we're talking 98, 97, 90, probably 97, 98.
That was a year or two ago, and I have no idea who it would have been.
Yeah, but a real mean letter.
So I'd only been doing production for a year or so, but you got to learn quick, and I was doing stuff, and the stuff we were doing, especially on reel to reel, was pretty innovative. And it was the guy who was there before me who had moved to KOME in San Jose, and that guy was a genius. So everything I learned from him. So I started applying for other production jobs. And kind of along the same lines, Fred, like careful what you wish for, because at that time there was the imaging director job at Q101 in Chicago was open, and I applied for it. Probably had no business applying for it, but I'll do it. And I got pretty close, according to the PD there at the time. He really liked my tape. He wanted more stuff, and he did what I thought was a really nice thing. He actually called me to tell me I wasn't getting the job, but he wanted to tell me how much he enjoyed the tape and how I should really keep at it, and I had something going. But this was the funny part. So it's 1995 maybe, and he said, "But look, I don't want you to think this is like the be all end all. It's a good job. Obviously, I think it's a good job, but." It only pays like $70,000, $80,000 a year.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I don't want you to think you missed out on, the biggest thing ever. And I was thinking, that would have been the biggest thing ever.
God.
Like I was making maybe.
How old were you at this point?
You're probably making $15,000 a year.
How old were you?
If that.
Yeah. There were years I was making $12,000 a year.
So I was 23, 24.
Yeah, but you're lucky you didn't get that job.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because I got offered 3 jobs in Atlanta at once. It went from nothing when I worked in Cumming, and one was the producer of the Regular Guys that were like a big shock jock show at the time. One was to be a secretary basically at 99X, and one was to do something at another station. But the guy who wanted to hire me was the guy who hired Howard Stern in Detroit. So hired him in DC. He was the guy that hired Howard Stern in DC, and he was like very complimentary towards me. And I took seemingly the worst job, which was the assistant at 99X, because it was far and away the most influential station. And now I'm a local radio DJ.
There you go.
Dreams do come true, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment. Paul Pierce has nothing to apologize for, and Brandon Ayuk is a bit of a situation. We have all these things coming right up.
10th inning snapped a 2-2 tie and handed the Red Sox a 4-2 win in Sacramento over the Athletics late last night. They've taken 2 of the first 3 games of this series. Said series wraps up tonight. Sonny Gray will pitch. Curtis Mead reportedly won't need surgery to repair his broken left wrist. He's been given a tentative timetable of 6 to 8 weeks to recover. The regular season ends 8 weeks from Sunday. Patriots players had yesterday off. However, the pads are on for practice beginning at 10:15 this morning. It's still scheduled to take place outside. It's open to the public. Mike Vrabel will meet the media at 9:30. You can catch that live here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. In NHL news, a record-breaking deal for San Jose cornerstone Macklin Celebrini. He has signed a new 5-year, $94 million contract extension. And Mauricio Pochettino is expected back as the head coach of the U.S. men's soccer team. He will reportedly sign a new 4-year contract that will take him through the next World Cup. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the Colossal Lobster Rolls at the 99, made with tender North Atlantic lobster with fries and coleslaw, served hot buttered with just the right amount of mayo and celery. You gotta love the 9s. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Listen to it, laugh at it, get mad at it, agree with it, argue about it. It is Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You've been aggravated since we've turned the mics on.
I don't know what it is. I don't have time to think about that right now.
Butcher and Hardy.
It's ridiculous.
The Sports Hub.
We are Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to the 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. I forgot, John and I had taken a quiz earlier in the show, and Hardy, this quiz was what?
Bow chicka wow wow.
Jay Stu reading off a series of sexual fantasies.
Now, let me just explain how it got to this. Yesterday, we had a news story about a guy who had a woman actually who had sold her shoes to a guy. She had met him in a hotel lobby.
It was a date. It was a first date, Fred.
Well, that's how they approached it until they got to the story. They said a first date online goes wrong, but he was buying the woman's shoes, and then he tried to smell her shoes because who could have put that together? And then he took off with the shoes. She chases him into the parking garage, and then she claims he tried to hit her with a car. I don't believe that anything criminal is going on. The news just felt like doing it because it's Florida. And then we got into kind of the callers called in with the psychological reasonings behind foot fetishes. There's some biological reasons people think. There's some psychological reasons people think. And then Ryan came up with this quiz. Now, the quiz, there's a lot of the stuff that we can't say on the air. So what were the rules of the quiz? How is this graded, Hardy?
Mark each item with a number 1 through 5. 1 means you are not at all excited by or interested in the idea. 2 means it holds almost no or some interest for you. 3 means you are somewhat or very erotically curious about it. 4 means you have or could have fantasies about it now. 5 means you want to take this fantasy into action. Bow chicka wow wow. Bow chicka wow wow.
All right. So John and I answered 9 questions. We can go through them and give our answers at this point.
All right, so now you will reveal the scores 1 through 5 for each of these as read by Jay Stu.
Kissing a stranger.
Am I going first?
Yes, John.
Okay, I have that as a 2. I have that as a 2. Not something that I'm totally don't want to do, but it depends on the woman. If I'm attracted to her, and sure, why not?
That's all I want to do.
Oh,
that's
all
a
right.
5.
Okay.
Isn't that what every fantasy is? Being with a stranger? Essentially, a woman that is not. It's a fantasy.
That is not familiar to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I would just. That's such an odd answer from you.
No.
What would you have put that as, Hardy?
Like 4 or 5.
Yeah, this is. It's the beginning. Would you don't like kissing? Oh, you just like to be bossed around.
You skip over that. Yeah.
I mean, that's a no-brainer 5.
Okay.
Every fantasy starts with kissing a stranger. I mean, that's the whole point. What do we watch porn where it's married couples? I mean, what the hell are you talking about?
I only have those a 2.
A 2.
Yeah.
Like a 4 I get, whatever. Like you're throwing 4s out there, whatever. Like a 2? What's 2 mean again?
1. I don't want anything to do with that.
What is
no
2?
interest.
What, give the definition of 2 real quick again.
2 means it holds almost no or some interest for you.
Is there anyone in the audience, male or female, that wouldn't put that as a 4 or 5? This is about a fantasy life.
Well, John follows the Hannibal Lecter edict, which is he covets what he sees every day.
Maybe that's it.
He and James Gum, Buffalo Bill.
No.
All right.
Covets.
Yeah.
All right. The second one.
Making love in water.
4 for me.
Okay, 2 because you can't do it. 2, it's impossible to do.
Shower count?
No.
Oh, if it
a shower works not as well.
Like in a pool or a bathtub or a hot tub or anything like that.
That I assumed it meant shower as well. If it's not shower, then 1.
No, you're submerged in water.
Okay, submerged in water. No, that does not.
The
work.
reason I put 2 and not 1 is that obviously if it was a stranger, or if it was someone that I was with and they're like, oh, hey, we're in water, let's have sex, I'm not going to say no, but it's not going to be nearly as enjoyable as sex on dry land.
So you said having sex in water, you immediately thought shower and you gave it a 4.
Well, I understand the bathtub does not work. Elaine is correct. But
how about a big bathtub? Having sex in a big bathtub?
No, shower. I assumed shower. There is water there. I didn't understand submerged was part of this.
How about that? Oh, in the rain.
Okay.
4.
How about just
sure.
Just on a humid day?
No, because there's no water sprinkling on you. That's humidity. That's different.
No, there's still moisture.
All right, it's not the same thing.
So what do we give him?
What did you say?
I said 4 because I thought shower,
Right.
and
So
1
4.
if it's not.
It's 4.
All right.
Number 3.
Being seduced by an older woman.
Has this happened to you, Fred?
I'll get to mine.
Okay. I say 4 for that one.
Okay, I said 5.
Okay.
Because I'd want to be seduced by anyone.
Okay.
That remains a fantasy to me. Because it's never happened in my life.
Just the idea that John now, in his mind, thinks about being seduced by someone older than him is all the way up at a 4 is kind of remarkable.
Well, he's very old, but I will say this:
I watched one too many of those movies when I was younger too.
Well, I mean, that's everyone had
Yeah.
that. But the thing is that I think John would feel the same way. Like a woman, like seducing you as a man. John and I are not attractive people. I mean, this does not happen on a daily basis. One time in my life, I was at a club and an attractive older woman. I've told this story with the Mercedes. I had sex with her at my house. And then she was like so cool about it. Like she didn't care at all. And like I called her one time. She's like, "Hey baby, I'm in Miami." And I never saw her again. Right. But like, but that wasn't like a seduction. She was just interested in me.
Yeah.
Like a real like touching my leg and stuff and like trying to like get me to have sex with him.
Nice.
I mean, that's about as fantasy as it is like being with a leprechaun.
Yeah, that's
never going to happen.
That's Mrs. Robinson. That is The Graduate. That is everything.
Yeah, that is everything. Anyone who doesn't answer a 5 to that, I mean, you're obviously very attractive and you're just sick of it at this point.
This one, I think we're going to get a real score disparity.
Being dominated by a woman.
John, should I just put down the 5?
Sure.
Okay.
Put down the 5.
Okay.
Put down the 5.
Okay. Sure. I put 1.
Yeah. I said, actually, I wrote down 4 only because there are different kinds of domination. Obviously, what I'm into is domination, but then you have a woman like handcuffing you and holding you down and stuff.
There's different levels.
Well, different levels to it.
But I mean, I think that we all have something in mind when we think of domination, and that's being told what to do and being disciplined for not doing it. And I have zero interest in that.
Okay. Yeah.
But John has lots of interest in that.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
I like that.
Sex with someone while wearing shoes. No socks?
No interest. 1.
I put 3 because who cares?
Am I still having sex? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's neither here nor there. It's about as average a take as I could have on it. I could really care less if anyone has shoes on, but if we have shoes on, all the better, or all the worse. I don't care. It means nothing to me. There could be not more of a 3 answer to me. That's about appropriate for it doesn't matter to you, right? 3, and just 3. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's not somewhat
yeah, somewhat. Like whatever. Fine. We have shoes on.
Okay.
Someone goes, "Hey, leave your shoes on." Great. Everyone says leave your shirt on with me because they're like, we don't want to.
Was it Joe Cocker who said you could leave your hat on? 9.5 weeks?
Well, certainly the girl could leave her hat on.
Yeah,
with
it was
you.
Joe Cocker.
Especially if she's got a beat up ball cap.
Oh, my God. If it was ball cap, leave your ball cap and sneakers on, by all means.
Sex with someone wearing a costume.
No,
It's
not
gotta be
interested.
a wrestling costume, right? Miss Elizabeth? or
Which number was
Sensational
this?
Sherry, or
This is number
Sonny?
6.
All right, what did you get?
I have 1. Don't want it.
I put 3 because I don't care either about that. Like if like a girl I want to have sex with has a costume on, I'll still have sex with her. I don't care. She could be dressed like Charlie Chaplin. I'd still have sex with her.
I differ on that one.
Little mustache?
I don't care. Like at all.
Okay.
Like there's very few things she could be dressed as where if I knew what she looked like really, I wouldn't have sex with her. Very few things. Like that. I don't think you understand.
No, we're getting a pretty clear picture.
No, I just don't.
Like
none of this means anything to me.
SS Stormtrooper, okay, that's a 1.
Yeah, but I mean, she was really hot.
All right.
No, I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Having toes sucked.
Having your toes sucked.
Not
John.
into that. No, 1.
Okay, I put a 3 because again, I don't care. If you want to suck my toes all day. As long as I get to have sex with you. If you want to suck my toes and that's what you're into, who am I? Why would that even bother you? I would just be like, fine.
It has.
I'm with John. I don't want it, and
No.
I think it would be a turn off.
Yeah.
See, I have to be a little sympathetic to what the other person wants. And if it's something that doesn't bother me, I have zero opinion on it. Would I think it's odd if they just had my foot in their mouth, like, for a long time? I mean, yeah, I would think it's odd, but not enough to dissuade me from the sex.
Okay.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Using a cane, riding crop, or whip to inflict sensation.
One. No.
Yeah, one.
One.
I don't like things that hurt.
I'm with you on that.
I don't like doing it, and I don't like getting it.
And finally,
Washing each other's hair.
No.
What'd you put?
5.
Why'd you put a 1?
Why would I want to do that? I have no interest in that.
Because you have done it. There's no way you haven't washed a woman's hair.
Yeah, and I was like,
yeah, and so it's a
not
3.
necessary.
No. One is like that you don't want to do it. Like one is that you would say no. That's my impression of this. Is one that is like you would say I don't want that. Like if someone brought a riding crop out and said I want to hit you with it at my age when I was 21,
one means you're not at all excited or interested.
Right.
Yeah, like
There's
you're not interested in
interest
it.
Not interested in doing it.
You want me to wash your hair and you want to wash my hair and that will help lead to sex, then yes, I would say I'd give it a 3.
Even if it's post-coitus, if they're like we're in the shower together, like even if I'm already done, if we're in the shower together and she wants she wants me to wash her hair, I'd wash her hair.
So you gave it a 3?
Yeah.
You got a lot of 3s.
Because I don't care about any of these things.
We've gotten that through this exercise. Yes.
Why would you care about washing someone's hair?
I looked at the
I
rating
thought I was
system.
no fun. This guy's no fun at all.
Fun with certain things, not other things. There's a clear dividing line.
But it's like if a girl like goes like I can't help it like and you really like the girl and she's like I can't help it, I just love sucking toes, like I'm gonna go no way.
It's a turn off for me.
Yeah, but you would say no?
Yes, I would.
Oh my God. You have no sympathy for your lover. I'm a better lover than Jonathan.
Yeah, you're a very unsympathetic lover, Jonathan.
All right.
So,
I know what I like. What can I tell you?
John, 20 points all told in the 9 questions, ranking from 1 to 5.
Yeah.
And Fred, spurred along by his answer of 5 on 2 of the questions, 26 points. Fred is the kinkier of the 2.
Oh, yes.
Bow chicka wow wow. Bow
John's the kinkier of the 2 based on the answer he gave a 5 to. My indifference
That's
was
a little
the
different.
reason.
Yeah.
Fred is the more indifferent lover.
And I would certainly I want the other person to enjoy themselves, and if it's something that doesn't bother me, then that's fine. I challenge the 1 on washing hair because there's no way you haven't washed your wife's hair.
I have.
Yeah,
Yes.
you have, of course.
Yes.
Like you take a shower with someone, and then they're like and like you're washing each other. You watch. I don't know. I mean, girls usually probably don't want you to wash your hair because you'll do it wrong. There's probably a whole situation and technique. But if you wash my hair, fine. I could even see that being enjoyable. I could even see that being like for play. But nonetheless,
You would still win, though, Fred. Congratulations.
yeah, I was being honest. And you have this. You wouldn't believe me. You put the right girl in a costume, you're having sex with them. I don't care what.
Maybe I haven't seen,
you haven't thought that.
the stormtrooper, maybe if she dressed up as Princess Leia.
No, there's nothing that I want a woman to particularly dress up as. Again, if anything, I'm boring. But if a woman was like, hey, I'm dressed up as Snuffleupagus, and I knew underneath she was hot, I'd be like, great. Whatever.
Especially if she did the voice.
I might get a little freaked out. I'd still do it, but afterwards I might go, ooh, I made a mistake if she was doing the voice. Yeah, if she was dressed up like, I don't know, Denzel Washington and Remember the Titans?
Yeah.
With like a whistle and everything?
It's interesting.
I'd be like, sure. Whatever. We get to have sex? Fantastic. All right. A lot of people are texting me on my personal phone about this. Well, there you go. I win. I'm the best.
Congratulations, Fred.
Well, I appreciate it.
Well
guys.
earned.
Thank you. All right. We'll be back in just a moment with our award-winning email segment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, it's Wallach. You ever wonder why Fanatic Sportsbook is America's fastest online growing sportsbook?
Executing the multiple coverages, and when he's in match, he's been close to his guy. He's been, I think the one thing we've tried to challenge him on is some of the other opportunities where he can go and, use his athleticism, use his speed, use his length and his instincts to go make plays. There's going to be times where he's going to be, matched up, and there's going to be times where he's going to have other opportunities. And some of that has shown up early on in camp, and hopefully that continues.
Like you said last year, that this is the day that maybe your most exciting day when they first get out there in pads, and usually there's one or two guys that look different. Do you remember who that was last year, maybe who stood out, and how much do you like this day of the year?
Well, I just think it's the next step for us. It's another opportunity to come out there and really start to come together and see how the fundamentals and all the technique work that the guys have tried to put in through the off season and through the early part of camp. I don't want to single anybody out. I don't really recall. I actually thought about it for a quick second, and then I said I'm going to need to focus on what today is and this year. But, whether that's young players or, tight ends or the opportunity to run. And this is good work for us to be able to work in the weather, work in the elements, stay up, work our footing, to be able to play and operate and take care of the football. From the quarterback center exchange to the way that we catch it. There's going to be times where we're going to have to play in the elements, and this is a great opportunity for us.
Like, is DeAndre Hopkins still with the team, and just what was it like having him around?
Well, it was a great experience. Hop's not here, but it was a great experience for I think all of us, and I think that's what we would try to do when you have some of these unique situations where a player or former player or whatever it may be wants to come in and help and learn, and they love football, and so I think it was good for everybody.
Mike, do you have an update on Carlton Davis?
He won't be out there today. I wouldn't expect seeing him today, or obviously any of the PUP guys. Gabe continues to progress well. I would say that he's closer to the return to play element, and that we talk about a lot. Transitioning to Frank and his crew, getting closer. So excited about that.
Charles Woods also left. Expect him.
Yeah, I don't think that was anything major.
Thank you. How is it going with Drake and AJ Brown? I know when we spoke to AJ earlier, he was talking about getting to know Drake, getting to know the offense. And does their growing connection get easier because Drake's command of the offense is growing too?
No, you just have to go out and execute. And I think it's, I know everybody tracks the numbers and everything else. I'm confident that, they'll continue to progress. And, again, it's good work. It's good competitive work out there. And, guys are in tight coverage or challenging and whatever that may be. And, Drake's hit a lot of passes to a lot of different guys. And I think that's the one thing that we continue to try to impress upon everybody is that whether it's Hunter or the guys that are receivers or there's opportunities for Ramondre in the passing game or matchups that we've had, and I'm really confident that that relationship will continue to grow, and AJ will have plenty of opportunities to help us.
Mike, what's been your impression of Kayshon Boutte so far this camp, both on the field and just however he's been comporting himself? Off the field.
Exactly the same as it was last year. I would say very professional. He's ready to go. He knows what to do. Takes advantage of his opportunities. It's been great to see him show up and be very productive early on in camp, and that was no different than last year. So I've got a lot of respect for him. I tell him that, and excited that he's gotten off to a good start.
How would you describe what you've seen from the rookie class?
I think that it's a learning curve for these guys. I think that the spring is one thing, and then getting to training camp is something completely different. I think they try to improve. They try to learn. Caleb playing O-line in this league and doing those things is a new experience. There's new techniques. It's much different line of scrimmage, I would say, than in college football. So he rarely makes the same mistake twice. He practices hard. He tries to learn. He tries to fix mistakes. Eli's learning and figuring this game out, and I think he can find a way to help us. And on and on and on. I go down the line, and like I said, I mentioned Gabe earlier. He wants to be out there as soon as he possibly can. And I told everybody this, and I told Gabe this, that there would be a return to play when he got back. And so he's attentive in meetings, and he's watching practice, and he came in on his off day and then met with Smitty and did all those things that he needed to do.
That practice yesterday, he made an appearance, obviously not participating though. Is that something that you encourage, given that he wasn't here for some of the spring and summer?
He wanted to be out there. Some guys that, I'd say that the closer they get to coming back, I'm probably more likely to have them come out to practice. If they're not very close to coming back, then maybe they won't be out there. But I'd say that's probably just a case-by-case basis. And he wanted to be out there, and he wanted to watch and learn and see what was going on with the drills and everything else. So that's what we did.
We saw Harold out there too. Is that significant that maybe he's getting closer to return as well?
I probably would say Gabe's closer to coming back than Harold is. So.
Mike, we have heard from both Winston and Ponder mention that they changed their diet, changed their eating habit this offseason. Is that something that the young players come to realize as they mature, or how much comes from your supporting nutrition stuff contribute here?
Well, I think it's that, some of these players are at an age where, they're just now getting into where they could be physically at their best from a strength and conditioning and speed factor, and some players that happens a little earlier than other players. But I think that those guys were looking at what they needed to do to improve, or what they could do to improve from year one to year two. And Ted and Sam do a fantastic job with each player's dietary needs and what some players need, less, more. Coaches could probably use a little less calories than some of the players, but those guys have worked hard, and excited to see where they continue to grow.
Mike, to this stage of camp, what do you make of the offense's operation from the play call coming into the snap?
Oh, I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's, you want to compare last year, it's probably better. I don't know. We talk about our overall tempo of practice. I think the tempo and the speed and the urgency, I think, is good. I think the execution, what I told the team and told the offense, I think the execution has to be better. I think it will be better. But overall, I think that we're moving with a pace that I think, can help us. And we try to work with a play clock, and we try to, get to the line of scrimmage, and whether we huddle or whether we don't huddle, and allow Drake to get us in a good call. And, I think all those things are good, and we'll continue to build and work with that. And it could always be better, but, being able to play with a tempo, whether we huddle or not, is something that's critical.
It seems like when we've seen him on a handful of occasions over the course of the summer work is that kind of that jumbo tight end, that extra tackle out there, kind of the role that Thayer had last year. What goes into the decision to say he might be a good fit here as opposed to someone else?
I think just, what their skill type may be, whether, the further away you get from the ball and being able to work in space, or some of those blocks out on the edge, and how that translates. It's usually, a tackle. If you look at the open side of the play, whatever they may do, just kind of pretend that they're the tight end and see how that translates. So we'll work some other guys through and continue to look at that. But, wanted to try to give him a role early on, or give an opportunity to have a role early on. And, we'll see where that, develops. He'll be in there, sometimes in Morgan's, not out there, and then some other guys will.
Seems like you guys have been leaning into some more 3 safety looks than maybe you did last season.
And
What
I'm
do you look
pulling
for
it
in a
there.
safety play in that nickel spot?
And I am pulling it there.
That's it?
Yeah, because I don't.
For free safety looks.
No. The 3 safety looks is where I draw the line. If
All
you would
right,
like to hear
all
that
right,
press
no,
conference in
no,
its totality,
no,
it will be up at 98.5thesportshub.com.
Somewhere Mike Dussault is pulling his hair out. He's talking defense.
Dussault's not even there. Dussault said he was doing a broadcast. during
That's
it.
right. He's in the bowels of Gillette.
That's right. He's doing his own show right now.
And everyone else was there. It is fun to hear the guys' voices and know that we know them. Like, we know everyone in that room now.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, Vrabel's a lot more engaging than Belichick. Belichick, we wouldn't even played it if it was Belichick. It's so boring.
got some life
being
to him. Yeah.
even more of a dick than usual.
Yeah, the only way you would get him to talk is ask him about something that happened in football, like pre-Super Bowl era.
Either that or a special teams player like the punter.
Yeah.
I've told this story 500 times, but the one time I used Waze, it was coming back from North Conway, New Hampshire, and I was with my family, and it took us through all these like residential streets, like real like suburban streets with like picket fences, and it's got me going all over the place. And I have 98.5 The Sports Hub on. It's the day of a Patriots game, and they play the entire Bill Belichick press conference, and he's talking about the punter for the Rams. This is when the Rams sucked, and I was thinking, like, I'm in New Hampshire. I was paying attention to directions. I didn't really want to screw around with the radio. Like, I couldn't get anything else anyway. And I was just thinking, what's going on? Why is this like on the radio? Why is this being allowed? Like, someone should just go, okay, we get it. Like, the punter's good. Like, he's doing a thing. Like he knows it's incredible. It's almost like he's torturing the audience. Like he just knows how boring what he's saying is. He has to know. And it's also like this false intellectualism. Like, I'm talking a lot about something incredibly not important. Like, you don't think this is important because you don't know what you're talking about. Like, no, I think we all understand what the punter does. He gets the ball further away than the other team would want it.
But what about a left-footed punter?
Well, the ball spins all crazy. There's no catching it. I mean, there's no way of preparing for a left-footed punter, especially if you're a left-footed returner.
Yeah, Belichick had a lefty punter for years.
Well, it's like if you're a left-handed batter, facing a lefty is very difficult.
Yeah.
It's the same thing if you're a left-footed returner. If you get a left-footed punter out
forget
there,
it.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the whole. I mean, the ball just is. There's no way.
It's wackadoo.
There's no way you can recreate that.
It's like the Dice K gyro ball coming down at you.
That's right. I've never seen this.
And then, like, how guys fumble punts or mishandle punts, then, like, it would be mishandled, and they'll be like, oh, that Belichick. Like, it never, ever happens in any other game. It's just because he had the left-footed punter. Ah! It's like if you're playing left field instead of right field, and the ball, like, it curves a different way when there's a fly ball or line drive, the ball moves a different way in left field than it does in right field.
Sure.
It's one's a backhand and one would be not a backhand.
Yeah.
Impossible to switch positions.
Yeah.
Nonsense. Complete and utter nonsense. False intellectualism. All right, we will be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines. Don't know the rules.
You idiot. The Sports Hub.
I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Hey, our email segment is powered by Jeffrey Glassman Injury Lawyers. If you've been hurt in a car or work accident, you got to get Glassman. Don't just send an email. Call Sevens at 617-777-7777 or visit gottagetglassman.com. Ben asks, hey, Fred, quick question. Why do you play Peg by Steely Dan when you talk about Mike Lombardi? All right, thanks, bye. We play Peg by Steely Dan when we talk about Mike Lombardi because of his
ball preseason, Paul.
What are there like
15th in
like,
their conference, not in the nation. Sorry.
Are there like 50 teams in the ACC?
There are 17.
Oh,
and they're preseason ranked 15th.
And you have to remember BC and Stanford are in that conference. So Stanford's in the ACC,
yep,
now, right? Yeah.
They are.
Okay.
Dick Fitz says, tell that D-bag Fred thanks for his need to start with the very ending scene every time he goes to a movie and then talks about it.
Yeah, imagine two movies, one about Washington and one about. Well, first of all, that's not the ending scene of Washington, the battle. I hate to spoil, but Washington survives the battle. It's young Washington, and from what we know from George Washington, he got to be relatively old for the time.
Do they get to the point where he throws the silver dollar across the Delaware River?
Forgot about that.
No, because I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they did it. It wasn't very good. And then the Odyssey is all battles.
Yeah, you're not really giving anything away by saying there's a fight scene at the end.
And then I would also challenge the suspenseful nature of the endings of the Odyssey or Young Washington, in that the Odyssey has been around for 2,000 years. When did Homer write the Odyssey?
I don't even say you're right. Say that's approximate. Yeah, that's fine.
If it's not 2,000 years, then it's 5,000 or 700. I don't know.
Whatever.
But it's been a long
time ago. Yes.
And Young Washington is called Young Washington. He doesn't die at the end because it's Young Washington. It's before he was president. It starts with him as a boy. It ends with him in battle. Bullets mysteriously missing him, and that's not even how it ends. It ends with the indigenous people saying,
"Well done.
What's your name? You're magical." And then he says, "I am George Washington." Joseph says,
"George Washington.
Hey, Fred, it doesn't have to be as shock jockey as it used to be, but some good old-fashioned street audio bits are sorely missed on the show. Would really add a lot, I think." Signed, Joseph. The problem with street audio bits is we can't do them without people's telling them that they're being taped. And then they only really work if there's something big going on. So we'll do them for like gay pride, but short of a team like the Celtics being in past the divisional round.
Yeah, we had big plans for deep into the postseason for the Celtics. That didn't happen.
No.
Yeah, like we can't. And you're misremembering the old show if you thought we got like a lot of street audio outside of big events after BCN, because I have a piece of paper that I had to sign that I would be fired. It was by the old by CBS. It's a company ago, saying that I would be fired if I played something without someone's consent. Like they had to know they were being taped.
Oh.
So there's not a whole lot you can do unless it's like a huge crowd. And we did 1,000 drunken Red Sox recaps, and I'm not forcing that again.
Pink Hats did that.
Pink Hat was a great bit.
Yeah.
It's just,
maybe if the Red Sox make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I'd do Pink Hat again. It wasn't my idea, to be
Right.
fair, but I'd do Pink Hat again. I'd steal it. But the thing is that like it's hit or, and plus we've done it so many times. Like some of these things have just been done so many times. We weren't doing a lot of street audio for the last like 10 years of the old show.
Dave Iraqi said, I think the way AI makes money is pretty clear. Efficiency through massive layoffs. He's probably not wrong. But I wanted to use that as a jumping off point just to share this one little tidbit from Wayne Cohn from the band Flaming Lips, who apparently said, and this is a quote attributed to him online, if an AI machine can make music as cool as yours, cool. I've definitely heard music that I thought was really great and then found out it was made by a computer and was like, oh, well, I don't care. We're the beneficiary. If you like it, you win. Wayne, do you know how those AIs make their music? They take your music and then they just copy it. They take everyone's music and then they just use their programming to create their own stuff. They are stealing original creativity and then just puking out a version of it.
Well, it also speaks to the emotion and human depth that goes obviously into a Flaming Lips record.
Right.
If the point of the art wasn't self-expression, then I don't really know why have a band. If it's just an algorithm, or I don't even know if that's the right term, or if it's just a formula that, just spits out something based on how the human ear reacts to vibration, I would challenge why there should be art of any kind. And I don't know how you win if AI. I'm going to be as bold as to say this, is that people will not attend AI movies and will not listen to AI music. And you might hear like Spotify, like there's a billion plays. There's a song by Snoop Dogg that Snoop Dogg's older than me. And there was a song by Snoop Dogg that he was complaining that he only got $45,000 of royalties from Spotify on. And it was played a billion times, over a billion times. Okay? I have never in my life heard of this song. He's older than me, so this isn't me like being old and out of it. And the guy from Spotify was explaining how that happened. It didn't still explain why it was so low. 13 writers and his publishing deal and all this stuff. But the numbers on Spotify are fake. The downloads on podcasts are fake.
Well, the downloads might be real, but are those people listening to the podcast?
They're so easy to be manipulated, Hardy. And then the advantage of manipulating them is then they get pushed to the top as being popular. All that stuff is fake. I'm not doubting some podcasts are popular and a lot of songs are popular. I'm not saying all of them. But when you see something that's got like a ridiculous amount of listeners, fake. Bill Simmons wrote all about it. Bill Simmons talked about it. Like it's just easily manipulated. There are people that have had hit songs on Spotify just because they figured out a way to screw with Spotify.
Yes.
And the songs are terrible, objectively terrible. All right. That'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day.